three, two, one. The Mock Draft Friday show with a new guy. The new guy, Dom, starts now. We did have a new intro. Difficulties, whatever. So I'm going to hit you with the old intro. But next week, guaranteed. New intro. Let's go.
BJ Nix, are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes. And the margaritas.
All right. Here. We're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
This is the time to line up behind your team, to support your team. Have faith in that team.
You know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, it can't always be good. And as I always tell people, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. But when we do know about
house call, Trayvon Diggs pick six. It's coming. They see it. Knocked away. Oh, Gregory. Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. Micah Parsons is unblockable.
Well. I told y'all the last time we was here, we were talking, we were going, and you know, we didn't know what was going on. We had no clue. We had no clue. We're like, hey man, we're gonna pause and kind of figure things out and kind of come back and see. We're back. It was a little bit of a smaller pause, Dom, than I thought it would be. But, you know, the draft gets popping. Things are happening. You know, the whole nine. We went from the Freestyle Friday and everything was going on. And now here we are. And we're in mock draft season, Dom. Mock draft. The draft is upon us. It's Super Bowl weekend. Fun times to be had. But, you know, dadgummit, we got things to talk about, Dom.
Man, we do. And, you know, part of what we need to talk about is the way you be executing these mock drafts. You be sneaking up on us. You know, you're not the 365, 24/7 type guy when it comes to draft. But, man, when you get on it, you get on it with a fury. So
I got to put it in fifth gear. Like I used to start in like October. I used to, Dom.
Right.
And then as things matriculated, and then I was like, well, I start in December. And, you know, then things happened or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, okay, I'm a January baby now. And now I'm to the point when the Cowboys check out, I pause from social media, and you already know this. Like in our back channel chats and everything else, you don't see me nearly as much anymore. You don't. You know why? Yeah. I'm right here. I'm fifth gear. Let me catch up and see what the hell is going on, what I missed, who I need to see. Let me get into it. Let me dial this thing up for Cowboys Nation and start getting this board put together the right way. In my opinion, and of course, I mean, there's different opinions or whatever, and that's what's fun about this time of the year. And of course, as we lead off here, you know, Programming alert from Don Me and Professor O. He'll be here in just a second. Spoonie as well. On February 10th, this thing will look completely different. March 10th, March 11th, March 30th. It'll look very different. The Cowboys got a lot of work to do. We can only deal, Dom, within the context of what we know from a roster. As a roster changes,
True.
Things will change on our end. Hold on, Bruce says Nick's coming through a little quiet, or is it just me? Hey, can everybody hear me? Test. Dom, you got me?
Yeah, you sound great on my end, but for the others that may be a little bit of
yeah, everybody in the chat, can y'all hear me? Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. You're now in tune to the quiet storm. Can y'all hear me or not? Let me know. I'll wait and see on the chat on this side. But anyways, as we here for the inaugural mock draft Friday, Dom, I think it's very important for us as we're going through the process. Now you're way ahead of me for sure. I do know that, and I'm catching up and doing my thing. But on the back end though, Dom, where you're at even and I'm at, man, 3 weeks from now we'll be completely different, Dom.
Oh, for sure. And within 3 weeks, speaking of, you used to do this stuff starting in October. Funny you say that. I got a direct message from a follower who only followed, I think, to just send me a direct message. In the comment he came out with, I was kind of perplexed, trying to think, why would you send me that message? And then I started to listen to some others' thoughts. And I think I found out where he got it from. So I had somebody tell me that he doesn't trust a couch scout who's putting content out in October. And then I listened to a guy that I respect in the community. He's one like you, blazing trails. And as he's talking about some of his prospects that he's pushing out, he ended up mentioning, I don't trust people who look at this stuff in October. I was like, oh, why y'all gotta go listen to that and then throw it on me just because I am Mr. 24/7 when it comes to this? I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, look.
It's what we do.
Yeah,
I mean, people do.
There are absolutely, and the one thing that I love about talking about people throughout the community and diving into it and being on both sides of, staying in the paint. And I turned my gain up. I saw Cleese said just a little low. I turned my gain up. Hopefully the gain is a little bit higher. Shout out to Mendoza, Wrench Gang in the building. The Sketty, as he used to come in here. Man, there's just different levels, right? As we're talking about the draft process, these young men coming from college and aspiring to do what they're going to do, and NFL side of things. And look, ultimately, whether you're doing it in October, been there, done that, raise my hand, or you dip your toes in January or when the Cowboys end. Here's the thing about it: there's no clear-cut way, right, to understand where the Cowboys are going to line up their draft. Right. Just what it is, because we always talk about BPA, right? Best player available. Ultimately, though, what teams do, and here's the peel back of the curtain, they do BPA by need. If you need 3 or 4 positions, when you come up on the board, you're taking best player available by need.
Right.
All the other fodder sounds great, but that's not how this league works. But the back end for the guys are still doing this, and I can absolutely speak to this from the October game. Used to be me. Simply is your rankings throughout that go up and down or whatever, but by the time you're here, you're ahead of the curve. So if you have your rankings on these positions, because you started in October to here in January, and then you line up with the team that you're talking about, oh, Dom, you're ahead of the curve, Deacon. Now you're ahead of the curve because you know where you're at already.
Right. And, a part of my problem is whenever I am evaluating these players earlier in the process, it tends to be, if I really like you in August and September, you're probably going to be a first, second round pick. And even when I try to get cute and say I'm gonna really devote myself to guys I think that may be sleepers, they aren't sleepers. They don't turn into that. For example, one being Steve Avila, the left guard for TCU, who was once a former center. I've been on him for the last 2 years, really, and watching his development and growth. And so I was thinking last year, man, it'd be nice if we could sneak and get Avila in the third round. All these mocks have him in the third round. That brother ain't going in the third round. And I'm that guy. I'm that guy he ain't gonna be that. But that's just one example of, when you're early in the process, you just trust your eyes whenever the guys start flashing on live TV. And then when you go back and you can find cut ups or condensed games or full games and you watch it with a different kind of eye, just to look at that player, then you know what you have. And so you start touting them pretty early. But in this process, you start to see the cream rise. And so at this time, even for those of you who are just now joining in and jumping in, it's no better time to do it now. We're 75 days out from the NFL draft. 79 days, 22 hours, 11 minutes, 38 seconds, and count. So we're ready.
That part. I got TC in the building. Wrench Game Part 2 in the building. What's going on, TC? Yeah, and ultimately, like throughout this process, as we're kind of getting our feet wet and we're talking about different things, I really want to hammer this home, is guys that are into it, or ladies, there's some great draft ladies as well. Let me not remiss and not say that. In general, there's great people that handle these things, and up to the Dan Buglers of the world and whatever the case may be. The one thing I want to convey, and the one thing I'm trying to do more so this year than I've done in years past in my content, is simply break it down to a different level and not just take for granted that people understand it. And I've had people inbox me like, Nix, I've seen your change, and man, I appreciate you doing this, and I'm trying to learn. So I want to make sure that I really double down on this off season. It's a process, man. Don't care October, December, January. Man, this is a process of getting through these different things and how you want to rank these prospects and what you're looking for. It's a process in general. It's just a process. And then on the back end, the one thing that I always talk about every year, every single year, there's going to be a quarterback on the fringe. You're really hearing about top 15 or 10. Because it's a quarterback driven league, you'll watch them get shoved up the board. It happens every year. And then on the other side of things, we get into what I like to call the underwear Olympics. and magically there's going to be these different prospects all of a sudden that will fall because, oh my God, they didn't do the 3-cone the right way. And then all of a sudden there's going to be a prospect that flies up the board because, oh my God, look how high they jumped. What I caution everybody to look at and go through once we're into this section of what's happening is simply this. The film doesn't lie. What's happening right now up until the draft will simply confirm or maybe give you pause on a prospect. However, no matter where you feel on a prospect, good or bad, say, well, pause. Okay, here's the measurables. Certain things matter there, right? We're talking about hand size, quarterbacks, right? Length, who's your defensive coordinator, what is he like there, so on and so forth. There's things that will give you a pause.
Yep.
But Dom, if you go back to the tape, though, it'll let you know.
It will let you know every time. And, one of the other measurables that stick out is the 40 time for cornerbacks. You just simply don't see anybody running higher than a 4.6 doing extremely well in the league. Maybe two guys in the last how many ever years they've been recording the actual 40 the way that they do in the combine. But yeah, it's going to be an ebb. It's going to flow. Right before we came on, I was tweaking my draft board when I got off of work today. And I'm starting to move some guys into spots based on some of the all-star games, if you will, that we just saw in the Shrine game and also
Shrine
Senior Bowl.
Right.
And the more and more I'm digging deep into trying to see players as they give interviews to see how intellectual are they. Do you really love football? Do you got something else going on in life?
Pause.
And
Marcus, why are you looking on Facebook? Have you not come over here to YouTube and subbed yet? Come on, Bluff. Get on YouTube and sub.
You know,
Shouts our guy Bluff City in the building. What's going on, Bluff? Appreciate you, brother, as always, man.
Bluff making that money right now.
Oh man, Bluff, man, shit. Bluff be grinding. I ain't mad at Bluff.
Shit, I'm gonna have to go out to Memphis. I talked about Bluff to one of my students today.
Yeah.
He told me he was from Memphis. I was like, "Hey, you know this guy?" He was like, "I don't know him."
Hey man, shout out to Professor's burner account. I'm down for just drafting USA track and field guys. Get out of here, Sam. One time, real quick, for those that don't know, Sam came in here on a Freestyle Friday. On Freestyle Friday, we drop up the link and you come up here, whatever. Man, Sam went to sleep on live. Daggone it, Sam. Appreciate you, brother, as always. Spoonie. Well, I mean,
my apologies, y'all.
Glad you showed up. I love how you confirmed yesterday, and then you're like, "Oh, I forgot."
Yeah, sorry, miscommunication. We had some of my wife's coaches came over, and some family here. Talk about her games and everything. So I got so confused with the whole thing. I said, "Wait a minute." So B just called him. I'm like, "Hey." I said, "Oh, give me 20." I was getting the food. I said, "Listen, I'm gonna go do this. I'll tend to y'all later." So I'm glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, 10-4, Spoon. Well, Spoon, since you didn't come through for the happy hour space, and me and Zom are just kind of.
I apologize again.
No, you're good. No, we're kind of setting the table here. It is February 10th, and we're getting into the draft process, and we're talking about these different prospects and where the Cowboys are and whatever. And of course, each and every Friday we're going to do a live mock draft. So stick around here towards the end. O should be up here in just a few minutes. We're going to do the live mock draft as well. But we're just kind of setting the table here on February 10th. I mean, every single thing this organization, the Cowboys, do from either re-signing a guy that's a free agent from our team, or going out here and signing a guy, or letting a guy walk. In particular, we're talking about right now. All the reports tells us simply, Pollard's getting the franchise tag, $10.09 million. He's getting the franchise tag. So there's a check mark for us, and we follow the breadcrumbs and what's going on, and we kind of lead up to what's going on. So set the table as each and every Friday moving forward from now till the draft. Man, we'll be here rocking out and doing mock drafts and moving up and down. Where are you at right now? Within that space and everything. And our guy O's in the building as well too. I'll reset the room. Let me reset the room real quick. I'm gonna repeat myself a lot because O just showed up. He might have been listening already. I have no clue. Oh, me and Dom are simply, I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit quicker. Setting the room up, February 10th. We're doing draft content. We're going through this. We're gonna do a live mock draft each and every Friday. However, how the Cowboys move is gonna obviously change the temperament here. 1, 2. How we view these prospects is going to change and go up and down on that realm too. So just kind of set the table for everybody as we're getting used to, from the Freestyle Friday in here to now the mock draft Friday and the draft content that we're doing.
Yeah, no, that's completely accurate. So some of the opinions that we have right now, we feel pretty good because we've had the opportunity to watch film to the best of our abilities, analyze some of their statistics. Some of these guys transfer from different schools, so you may have to go back and look at them in different schemes. Then you have coaches that change. So a guy might be recruited by one coach that's running a pro-style offense. Then another coach is hired during their tenure at that school, which may switch to like a spread look. And you're being used and asked to do different things. So there's a lot that goes into the process, and how I feel right now on February 10th may change on March 10th, and it probably will change on April 10th. So it's a roller coaster. So don't lock anything we say in right now as this is the absolute gospel. Although I feel pretty good about where I'm at with certain prospects. We also have to realize, we're going to see guys that time a lot better than what they look like on film. We're going to see guys, Spoonie, married to Candace Parker.
Hey.
Good for him. Good for you, Spoonie. But yeah, we're going to see guys that are more athletic than what you gave them credit for. You're going to see guys that game film looks a lot faster than what you thought. So some of those combine and pro day and stuff like that matter, but also only to a certain extent, because can you play ball or not? So yeah.
Right. I think, and the one thing I try to land on as we're setting the table here simply is we've done the film work on these guys we're going to talk about. We're kind of getting into that. Pros, cons, or indifference. We'll have different opinions here as well about certain prospects and whatever the case may be. But as O said, and I talked about earlier, things will change within the context and what's going on and whatnot. So yeah. Oh, Bluff in the building.
I have a question.
With that being said, Spoonie, how's Candace Parker doing? I'm joking.
Great.
Spoonie, how we doing, man?
I don't know if you guys saw this. It was on, I think ESPN shared it or SportsCenter, one of the two on Instagram. There was a basketball game that ended 4-2. Did you guys see that?
No, I did. I did. Yeah.
Crazy.
Insane. Insane.
It was awful.
But I do have a question though.
Okay.
Because of the change of the offense, right now we're assuming we're going West Coast. That's the assuming right now. Look,
Schottenheimer,
right,
and McCarthy,
right,
both came from Daddy Schottenheimer. So yeah,
right.
I'm with you.
So can we say the measurements of the players may change as far as the scheme? Like I know we used to talk about guys who are 6'4", 6'5", 6'3" receivers, and now can we say with this West Coast, because they did have a guy like Cobb in that offense, can we say we can look at the receivers like Downs from North Carolina, Flowers from Boston College, smaller receivers with more speed? Can we say that for this offense moving forward?
Yeah, I think we're going to learn along this path. Offensively, we don't know. Defensively, I think Dom. I think defensively it's going to matter still, right? DQ's here. He's been here now. Like we kind of get it. They're not changing much on the defensive side, Dom. You think there's some bend or break there, the defensive measurements of what's going on?
So under Jason Garrett for years, they had old man dictating the need for the D3, the slasher, the one gapper. Mm-hmm. So with Dan Quinn, though, we've already seen where they tried to add in a big guy, a big nose, a massive guy. They've tried with Quinn Bohanna. They've tried to bring in Hankins. They're trying to find somebody to solidify that spot. So you may see them start to go away from just looking for the 3-tech type only to fit in the interior, but then
Ridgeway, don't leave out Ridgeway. They brought in Ridgeway too.
Right. And then also, man, sorry about that one.
I know, spirit animal.
But then on the flip side of that, you have Dan Quinn, who was there whenever Atlanta got somebody like a Grady Jarrett, who's a smaller guy.
Yeah, what round was he in, though?
What's that?
What round was Grady drafted in, though?
Ooh, I think he was a third rounder.
Yeah, see, that's
rounder.
what, right, yeah, I got you. I'm with you.
So, but you got a guy this year like a Kalijah Cansey,
right,
who's a smaller guy, who's known as a one gapper, who would do the things that Grady Jarrett does.
And where's he from?
So you might have a little bit of difference.
Yeah, where's he from?
Pittsburgh.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Let the people know. They don't know. Look, we can't say for granted they know where they're at.
Right.
I got to dumb about him, though. Not down. Some was saying, Ryan Bros, he came out and said something about him being the similar skill set as Aaron Donald, and some people feel that with the same type of size, but 6 foot. I know it's a long, with the size, 6 feet, 275 pounds, and similar how Aaron Donald came out. I know you watched tape. Did you see anything that gave you that comparison, or do you see somebody else?
I think Donald, when he came out, he was 6'1", 285, but he had a little bit longer arms for a short guy. I think he was close to that 33-inch threshold that you would normally have for a tackle. But he reminds me a little bit more of Grady Jarrett, who was also a smaller guy, 6'1", 304. Even a Javon Hargrave, who was 6'1", 309. Puna Ford is bigger in the middle than all of those guys, but Puna was under 6 feet and 303. And so he kind of fits in that mold of guys, but the thing about him is he gets up on players extremely quick. He's the first one off the snap. He's great with that initial burst. And so if you want somebody who's a specialist, who can come in on obvious pass downs to get some penetration and get some pressure on the quarterback, but is also strong enough to have the leverage to hold his own. Like, he's just not going to be bullied easily, even in a run game. But man, that's a talent that you might be able to get in the, late second, early third. But Aaron Donald, that's just, woo.
Yeah, I know. Just
I think that happens a
name.
lot, though. There's these easy comparisons because a player went to a school. So last year with like George Pickens, people were like, he's AJ Green, because that's another really good wide receiver prospect from the same school. And that happens quite a bit. So being a smaller, undersized defensive tackle who has a quick first step and is a good athlete, I understand why people would immediately say Aaron Donald, but that's not really fair to compare guys to Aaron Donald. I did want to make a point kind of piggybacking off what Dom said, maybe some defensive changes that we may see. We got to keep in mind, too, we will have a new linebacker coach versus last year. So when you go that, maybe the type of linebacker we look for in the draft this year might look slightly different than what we had before. Now, obviously, you're not looking at adding a completely different type of player than what DQ has in the scheme, but you may see some trait differences or maybe length differences or athleticism differences in this new linebacker coach in the type of guys we target moving forward than what we had previously with George Edwards.
I mean, might be a 6'5" guy from Arkansas.
Could be.
We're drawing a line with Jerry and a former, Arkansas attendee national championship winner. There's a guy out there in Arkansas at 6'5".
Could be.
Could be. I got Stephen White in the building. Darnell Washington tied in at 26 or Osiris? I'll let y'all go before I go. I think it's going to be a slam dunk around the way. Go ahead, Dom.
I'm trading back. Can I get that option?
Nope. You got to pick one right now.
If I had to pick one, I'd go with Osiris.
All right. Spoony, are you taking Darnell Washington or are you going Osiris?
Listen, according to Kelsey from the Kansas City Chiefs, he already said we already have somebody similar to him already on the team. So I'm passing the title, even though I would love to trade back what Dom originally said.
We can't trade back.
I know, I'm going to stick to it. I'm taking Osiris from Florida.
All right.
So I'm taking the 6'7", 280-pound tight end from the University of Georgia, the two-time national champion, will be a Dallas Cowboy at pick 26. Lock it in.
Why?
Lock it in. Oh, hold up. One more second. Let me rewind. I wasn't prepared for this.
All right, go ahead.
No. I wasn't prepared. I need to make sure that I make this pick correct. I got to do it justice because Cowboys don't draft my guys, but this is Professor O's pick. So at pick 26, the Dallas Cowboys select Darnell Washington, tight end from the University of Georgia.
So you're okay with drafting at best number 2 tight end in the first round?
He'd be your number 1 tight end.
No.
Yeah.
It won't. It'll be Ferguson.
No.
Bet money on everything.
I mean, if they're drafting this guy in the first round, yeah, he'll be your number 1 tight end.
Hence why they won't.
Hey.
Well, that doesn't matter. That's what we're looking at right now. That's my choice.
Whatever. No, man, it's Osiris. I mean, it's Osiris. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. At 26, where the team is at, currently on February 10th. Now, we can obviously go through the process and things can change. Right now, on February 10th, man, it's Osiris, man. Close the book. Let's go. Go ahead, Dom.
I'm trying to make things Dak friendly, right? Having a mammoth tight end in the red zone, Dak friendly. I'm trying to find somebody who can help in run blocking. He's like a sixth offensive lineman.
You have no starting left guard.
I mean, maybe we do.
Who? Oh, who?
I mean, there's things you could do, right? Like, we have 3 tackles on the roster, right? And one of those guys, 3 starting tackles on the roster. Maybe one of those guys slides a left guard.
Don't you dare. No. Don't you dare. We saw Tyler Smith at left guard. It wasn't that damn good.
I mean, okay, let's do this. So Tyler Smith at left guard or Osiris at left guard. Who do you like better? Just at that. Left guard to left guard. Who do you like better? You like Osiris, who's never played a snap at left guard, over Tyler Smith?
Oh, look at the little trap he's setting. Here's what I like. I like my left tackle to be solidified, and I'm okay with Tyler Smith. I ain't got to worry about that. Much easier to get my left guard.
Yeah, but Darnell Washington, lock it in.
fun begins.
Oh, I hate it here.
Yeah,
I hate it here. I hate it here. Ain't no ifs or buts about it, man. It's Osiris, man. Man, close the book. I don't care. Look, and I love. Look, I'm a former tight end. Okay, I'm a former tight end. I love tight end position, but however, man, we are rich at tight end right now. I'd said this last offseason. I'm like, before they ever took a snap, somebody was in the space. Before they ever took a snap, I literally said, these guys, talking about Ferguson and Hendershot, which, I mean, I'm sorry, I mean, these two guys to the, I don't know how to do this, to my left on me, or is it the right to y'all? I don't know how this shit goes. Y'all put me on Hendershot. Mendoza did as well, but y'all, Dom. And once they got here, things were happening. I was like, in the space we were talking, I was a big Ferguson guy anyways. I was huge on Ferguson already. Here's the thing.
As soon as the Senior Bowl happened, Knicks was Team Ferguson all the way.
I was like
that same
I've
weekend.
Seen it. I was like, I know he can block and do certain things. Then I saw the high point of the ball. I was like, oh, say less. We're good here with Ferg. Here's the thing. And I said it once with the training camp or whatever. I was like, yo, these guys, taking what they do, I'm not saying they are these guys. But if they're in just a parking lot of Hernandez and Gronk, you got something to build on. That's what you got. And I think we went through the season. I think it's there. Now, the Cowboys have to believe, and being honest about Hendershot, a lot of penalties. It's fair. It's very fair about him. Big drop for interception. Fair with him. He has a little bit further to go. Ferguson should have been left off, should have been unleashed more, in my opinion, than Hendershot. But boy, with those two guys going to the next year, I think you feel pretty good about that. And for me personally, I'm not taking a tight end in the first round with those two guys on deck. Dalton Schultz, appreciate you, brother. I'm good here. I do think you'll get a tight end, though. But not in the first round with everything that's going on with the Cowboys. Here on February 10th. Now, what happens? Maybe talk me into it. But right now on February 10th, I'm good at tight end in the first round personally.
To be clear, I'm picking Darnell. The Cowboys would 100% take Torrance. So, yeah.
I know what you're doing. Well, I mean, where the hell is Kirby at anyways? Oh, did we not? I thought we was going to get a Kirby shot tonight.
He's asleep right now. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Let the Bulldog sleep then. Let the Bulldog sleep. Go ahead, Spoon.
So far, you're 2-0 because you did Lamb, you did Ferguson. So, who's your pet cat for this year's draft? Is it Joey Porter Jr. still?
Whoa. We can't look. This is the inaugural Mock Draft Friday show with Dom in the building with us.
Right.
I can't give that away yet. We got to tease that and build that up and go through some things.
All right.
We can't give that away yet. We can't give that away yet.
I want to say that I know with the early question, I know myself and Don will want to trade back. I know it's early, but we started doing these mock drafts.
Hold on, pause. Let me ask: if the trade back option was there,
right?
Oh, would you trade back? But those are two guys. Would you trade back?
Oh, 100%. I would trade back with almost eight. The list of guys I would not trade back for this year is very low. Like, I would trade back. That's my first preference, is to trade back.
Fair.
Okay.
Let me ask this other question. Is there anybody, and I'm gonna start with Dom, and I'm gonna go Spoonie then O. Is there anybody you would trade up for currently? That can change. Your answer could be tonight. It can change any point in time. Dom, is there a guy you would trade up for right now?
Well, set the stage a little bit more. Give me a pick that I would have to also package to be able to go up. First and third?
No. First and third. So go get your guy. How about that? First and third. You don't like, no, I don't like that, Dom, because I already know you don't like thirds any damn ways. No, I don't care what it costs you.
Would you move into the top 15? Like, is that what we're talking? Like,
yeah, let's do that. Let's go to 15. How about that's 11 spots? Let's go 15. Okay. How about that? We'll set the stage there. Let's go to 15. From 26 to 15, is there a guy at 15 that you would trade up for?
Yes. There are a number of guys I'd trade up for.
Give me your number one then. Pause. Give me number one. Who is it? Oh, give me two. Give me two, Dom. I want to hear your two. I want to hear two from you, Dom. You said multiple, so I want two.
I would say defensive end Tyreek Wilson out of Texas Tech,
Mm-hmm.
and or Tyree, I should say, and one of my top three cornerbacks,
Mm.
Christian Gonzalez. If he made
Okay.
it 15, I'd trade up for that.
Okay. All right. Spoony, are you trading up to 15 for anybody? You can say no.
Yes, it's not a popular it's not going to be a popular answer. I know that
What's your
already, but I'm
answer?
going to say it. Beyond Robinson from the running back from Texas.
Professor O is going to literally. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. Professor O is going to get in his car from Atlanta and drive up whatever corridor that is to Brooklyn, New York, knock on your door and kick you in the nuts.
I know. It's not a popular. Listen,
I'm going to tell you right now. I ain't hitting those.
I'm not doing it. I don't know who it is. Must be dumb.
The reason why I say that is because when I look at the Dallas Cowboys right now, let's be honest.
On February 10th.
February 10th, Zeke is not the same as before. I love Zeke. I'm a big Zeke
So you think they're
fan.
going to cut Zeke?
I don't think they will. I think
the dadgummit Spoony.
he'll take a big pay cut. I think he's gonna take a pay cut, and he's gonna end up staying. But
then you're not trading up for him.
No, but in my opinion, it was hard for me because I know Professor O kept on saying, and we got to be honest with ourselves. He's not the same unless you're gonna turn him to a fullback or whatever. I have to cut him.
Spoony, so
I know you can't.
for franchise tagging Pollard, you're gonna franchise tag Pollard and trade up.
I'm gonna get to Pollard too.
Okay.
Now again, I'm not a doctor. He does have an injury. I don't know how he's gonna be. Again, we got to see. We're trying to change the way the old ways where we keep going with these injured guys on discounts. We did look what happened. So my opinion, I don't know how Pollard's gonna be. Even though it's 3 months, is he gonna be the same? This is why they tagging him, to be on the safe side. In my opinion, when you look at Bijan Robinson, he's he's a top 10 prospect. He's all around. I hate the rule. Don't draft the running back. You take the best thing that's going to help your team. And if we go on this West Coast offense, Bijan Robinson can do a lot that Zeke can do and Pollard can do. Why not take the best back there? In my opinion, that's what I say. Okay. Now I understand about Gibbs in the second round from Bama. That's your Kamara type. That's your.
You say trade up for Bijan.
I'm trading for Bijan Robinson because I don't want the Eagles to get him at number 10.
Okay. All right. Well, is there a guy who trade up to 15 for?
Well, if the Eagles are going to get him at 10, you can't trade up to 15 and get him. So you'd have to go even higher than that. So Spoon wants to move in the top. Spoon wants to move to number 9 to get him. That's based on what he said. So, all right. There's 2 guys that I would trade to 15 if somehow they were available. I don't think either one would be.
Okay. I'm going to give you one of mine because you might steal mine. There's only one guy for me.
Okay.
He plays for Georgia.
He does. Yeah, if somehow he fell, I would make that move 100%.
Okay.
And then also Will Anderson, if he made it to 15, I would trade up for him too. There are a few guys I'd move up to 20 for, but to answer the question, 15, yeah, those 2 guys, if somehow gas mask videos get out the night before and they start falling, I'm making that call. Aside from that, I'll probably just stay put.
And of course, the guy from Georgia we're talking about there is
Jalen Carter.
Yeah. And Carter's there at 15.
There's no way he is, but if he is somehow, yeah.
Let's go. I would go to 15. And real quick, the reason why he's my guy, I love fatties anyways. I've been trying to get a big fatty here forever from that's followed us for a long time. The other side is, look, I'll follow some breadcrumbs from last year. One of the guys the Cowboys said they would move up for, and it was kind of proven, was the other fatty, if you will, Jordan Davis. They were willing to move up the board for. And here's the thing, not 15. They were talking about going up to even 12 for Jordan Davis. Now, yes, it was a conversation. Now how real or how more invested they were, to be said. However, if Carter's there though at 15, absolutely, I am definitely boom check marking. I'm moving to board 15 to go get that guy. and we'll figure the rest of it out. Now, a lot of that will depend on what the Cowboys do, free agency, sign their guys or whatever, to set themselves up. And that's the biggest thing I want to kind of set the table for here during the draft talk. As I asked the question for us to go up, realistically, the Cowboys have to set themselves up the right way between now till the draft to be able to go up the board. And even to O's point, who said 20, this is 6 spots. Even just 20, you have to set yourself up, starting now, moving forward, to be able to have that opportunity to do that. I would love for the Cowboys to set themselves up to be like, hey, look, we can sit back and there's a guy that gets down the board, because I do believe this, and I believe this. Let me ask y'all real quick. The way that I'm looking at this draft and I'm going through the prospects, and we've had our conversations the whole nine, there's some guys that we're talking about right now in the top 10 that I do think are not going to be there. I think there's a bigger chance, if you will, of guys getting pushed down the board. Some of that is quarterbacks going up or whatever the case may be, but I think there's some guys. I ain't talking about Carter. I absolutely believe Carter's going to be a top 5 pick. Yeah. Let me be clear when I say that, because I'm trying to put that in the ethos to get Carter here to Dallas. But I just think in general, some of these guys are being talking about in the top 10 right now, or even top 13. I think they can get pushed down the board a little bit, right? So for the Cowboys to go up, they have to set the table now to be able to have the opportunity to go and strike. So it was a great idea or think take here for everybody in the chat and on the panel to say, hey, who's the guy would you go up for and what's happening? And then we'll get a little, the picture will get painted a little bit. Bob Ross, happy accidents and whatever, to kind of see how that plays out. Now, I want to ask Spoonie and O, because Dom, we were there and the question was broached to us on the space. Who's the guy? The Cowboys don't move up, move down. They just sit right there. Who's the guy that could be drafted currently that nobody is talking about, or there's not a lot of pop about, that you could see the Cowboys taking at 26? Spoon, you want to go, or who wants to go?
Yeah, I go with Jackson Nigga from Ohio State, the wide receiver. It's been a lot. Huh? I think he'll be there. I think he could be. I don't think he's gonna run the fastest 40 time, but he'll run something decent. But he's good in the slot. His route running is very crisp. Listen, some saying out of Ohio State that he was even better than the receivers that were previous there, like Olave, and currently right now I'm Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison's son. So he's one guy really no one's talking about, but I think he's gonna be around that 20 range, where the Cowboys could just stay put at 26 and take him. Because I think guys like Quentin Richardson and Addison will be there before him.
Quentin Richardson?
Quentin Johnson, excuse me. Johnson, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, shit. But Steven said, sell the farm for QJ. Okay. Who's the guy not being really talked about right now here on February 10th so far through the process that you think could be the guy there for the Cowboys at 26?
Yeah, so there's a guy, and I didn't hear you guys, but I have a feeling the guy that I'm going to say is who you guys both would have said. But there was a draft not that long ago where everybody was, and this is the year that the Cowboys traded for Amari Cooper in the season. Everybody was like DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, they're taking a wide receiver 100%. And then about 3 weeks before the draft, you started hearing Leighton Vander Esch pop up, linebacker. And everyone's like, no, they're definitely going to take it. And then the board fell and wide receiver was on the board and they took Leighton Vander Esch.
That's true.
I don't know how high I would say the chances, but there's a reality out there, a universe, Cowboys verse, whatever, where the Cowboys say Drew Sanders can rush the passer. He's a linebacker. He can be the Mike. He can do a lot in this defensive scheme. I could see Drew Sanders being the linebacker that everybody is like pulling their hair out, throwing the remote at the TV, and then 3 months later, like, that was a good pick. Really good pick. So that's the guy I would say is the unexpected guy that people right now in February, we're like, there's no way that maybe in April you're like, I could see that.
Oh, I literally said Drew Sanders would be the absolute Tyler Smith pick of this draft.
Yeah.
And to put some extra sauce, a little extra seasoning on that, he played at Arkansas. the lines, look, I'm telling you right now, I can the multiverse, MCU, the whole nine, all that. This great talk in the whole nine. I'm damn near more sold on him being the pick than anybody. Now again, things have to happen throughout the process, but on February 10th, I'm like, oh, this lines up because I do think he's gonna be a high riser as things happen and people get the national exposure, and he does things as long as he tests well. He's going to be a guy that rises up the board.
And to be clear, he's not rising that high, right? Like people are saying he's 40th right now or something.
40, yeah, right. We're talking about 40. He's like 40 to 50 right there. He does enough. He's into the 25, 35 range.
Right.
And then you have Jerry. I mean, I don't know. So I think he has Arkansas ties. I don't know why I think that. I think he has Arkansas ties. Remember Felix Jones on the board, ladies and gentlemen? There was CJ2Ks and other guys, and we can kind of do this. Yeah, man. I think early on, my dark horse in the lead, I do think it's Drew.
Yeah.
Is that who Dom said as well?
No.
Did you say the guy mentioned in the chat earlier?
Yep.
Tell us about him.
Those guys
Go ahead, Dom. Land your plane.
I'll pull it back up while you talk.
So it's gonna give me 2 minutes.
No, Dom, take 5 minutes.
So last draft, we had a mammoth of a guy in the middle, went 12th or 13th overall. A couple years ago, Derek Brown went 7th. 19, Dexter Lawrence went 17th. In 2018, Vita Vea went 12th. In 2016, Vernon Butler went 30th, which is, near the end of the first round where we're picking. And 15, the year before that, Danny Shelton went 12th overall. Malcolm Brown went 32nd. In 2013, Star Lotulelei went 14th. K'Wan Short, 44. Dontari Poe in 2012 went 11th. Fletcher Cox went 12th. So whenever you get a guy who has got some girth to him, but yet he's got lateral agility, he's got rush ability, he's got movement skills. He's the kind of dude that on tape, whenever you watch interior offensive linemen get ready to block him, when he gets his hands into him, there's enough of a violent punch to cause heads to snap back. Guys like that just don't last. And you can't put them in the category of just being a big, hole plugger like Dalvin Tomlinson even was when he was first coming out. But he still went 55th. And Rasheed Hageman went 37th. He was just a big old guy. But when you have a guy that can move, that can do all the things that I've already said, that has played the one gap, the B gap, the guy I'm talking about is Siaka Ika from Baylor. And I haven't seen anybody really mention him for Dallas's 26th pick.
And another thing too, Dom, is where did he go to college at?
Well, he first started with LSU. He was on that national championship team in 2019. But then whenever Baylor hired away their defensive coordinator, he went along with the DC who became the head coach for Baylor. And so he starred for the last 2 years with Baylor. He was a first-team all-selection for the 2 years he was there. The guy, you won't see like stats production out of him, a sacks production. You just don't really see that. He had, I think, 7 for his career. It's like Vita Vea. He only had 9 for his career while he was with Washington and played 3 years. And Ika really had 2 good years of collegiate play. So you're talking about a guy who starred in the middle of that Baylor defense where they had a 3-man front, and it was an odd kind of 3-man front the way they ran it. And they relied on him to really not get upfield so much and get pressure, but to really take on blocks. But yet he still was able to get 51 pressures in 2 years, 7 sacks. One issue he has is finishing the play because he'll get through and he'll try to wrap up, but yet can't fully wrap up. But he slows the guys down enough for that gang mentality of guys who are coming flowing, able to be the next guy to come and secure the tackle. So if he can clean that up, man, just those.
Well, Dom, I brought it up for a reason, though. So he plays at Baylor. Baylor is in what state?
Good old state of Texas.
The Cowboys have Texas Day every single year before their top 30 visits, where they bring players from SMU, Baylor, Texas, Texas Tech, all of the Texas schools. Like, he will absolutely be one of the guys that visits the Cowboys. I'm just saying that's an opportunity for them to sit down, talk ball with him, get an idea of what he's like, what makes him tick, get hands-on exposure with him. So he could be a guy that, depending on how the board falls, they're like, he won't be there at 58. If we want him, got to go now or trade back. So, yeah, I could see that one.
Yeah, and one thing that I've been saying for quite some time, and I see Mendoza mentioned it, is this is a pretty good defensive tackle draft. When it comes to, throughout, you can kind of find a guy that fits whatever you're looking for. You can find the hole pluggers. You can find some specialists who can be a 3T. You can even find like a 5-tech type. But Ika, to me, as far as a complete interior D lineman, he's defensive tackle 2 in this class. And that may be surprising to some because the kid out of Clemson, Byron, or no, what is his name? First name? Brian. Brian Brzee. If you'd have seen Brzee coming out as a freshman, I think he was like number 1 overall recruit in the nation. He was so lightning quick, being 6'6", long like that, and around 290 at the time. And then he suffered some injuries, and he just hasn't been the same guy. So I don't know why people continue to put him as defensive tackle 2 right behind Carter, who's going to be a top 10 pick, and they're putting Brzee in a lot of these mocks and stuff. But Ika, to me, is the far better talent right now. And it's a significant gap between Carter and Ika. But then from Ika to Benton, who's my DT3, who's to me is probably worth a 3rd round pick. That's a huge gap, saying one. But that 3rd round, 4th round it's just filled with quality defensive tackles that you feel like you can get value. But Ika is the guy that I think people are sleeping on for a value pick at the end of the 1st round.
Well, Dom, if Ika's gone, how do you feel about Keandre Coburn from Texas?
Coburn is on my list of defensive tackles that I actually like, but you can get a talent like that probably in the 5th round.
Right, later on.
Yeah.
4th and highest.
Yeah, and his teammate, Ojimo, is about the same way, but he's more of a 3-tech.
Right.
So those guys, you can wait to the mid-rounds to be able to get them, and you hope they can get in development.
Yeah, I just think, the Cowboys, the last 1st round defensive tackle they took, Russell Maryland. Let me look at my clock.
Long time ago, 92.
Yeah, excuse my language. Maybe they'll change my mind. Maybe they will. Look, I'm not against what you're talking about. I'm just think about the perplexity and how they move. Very interesting in those points. But I'm with you. Kid from Baylor's number 2. Absolutely. And as we talked about earlier, me and O, you're moving up. If that guy from Georgia makes it to 15, sell the farm. I'm good with it.
Hey,
been trying to get there. No. Jay Rev was, I said 1st round. Jay Rev was a 7th round pick there, Eddie.
So is there an honorable mention aside from the 2 guys we mentioned, without going on a full sales pitch on that? Is there anybody else aside from those 2 that you could see as being that guy that rises up the draft board that we're not talking about right now? Could that be a Antonio Johnson or somebody like that? Or anybody really, but
you got a guy or
I actually think it's probably going to be a receiver that we're really not talking about.
We talking about defensive tackle though.
But you talking
No, I
about?
was saying any position.
Oh,
like,
anybody. Oh,
aside
anybody.
from the
Okay,
two
okay,
that we
okay,
named
anybody.
with Drew
Okay, got you,
Sanders
I got you. Okay.
and Siaki, is there any other guy that could be a late riser due to a stellar pro day, combine interview, whatever?
Yeah, I think you need to just kind of go back over whoever your favorite receivers or cornerbacks would be. And I know the kid out of LSU, Butte, he's probably one that people has kind of serviced. We know that
The
he
most
has
intriguing
talent.
man in the draft.
Yeah, but for me, and it's really not like a wow, like whoa, maybe for some people, but Zay Flowers is that guy that I haven't seen him mock to Dallas. I haven't seen him really extremely high in mocks.
My first mock draft had Zay Flowers round 1, Dom.
But yeah, and I'm gonna name drop a little bit, but Jeff Kavanaugh and Vach we're talking, and I heard Vach say something to the effect of, if I wasn't a coward, your boy from Georgia would be his edge one.
Nolan Smith, yeah.
Nolan Smith over Will Anderson, over Wilson, and all the other host of guys. And I'm like, you know what? If I wasn't a coward, Zay Flowers would be my wide receiver one. So if anybody of a surprise, that probably would be him for me.
So I'll throw a name out there. I don't think the Cowboys will draft him. But
January 27th, I just want to put it out there. January 27th.
Can't see that, but we believe you. I can see it now. There you go.
Shit.
We see it. I got it right there. I got you. So another name that I'll throw out there that I'm not advocating that the Cowboys draft him, but this name has been brought up as somebody that the Cowboys could draft is a tight end, but it's not Darnell Washington. Dalton Kincaid is a name that if he's there, I don't see why, but we also wanted to take Trey McBride last year. We know how the draft fell. We got Jake Ferguson. Again, I'm not advocating for us to take him. I'm just letting you know it's been spoken out there that Dalton Kincaid is the guy that the Cowboys would potentially be high on. Brian Broaddus likes him. Dane Brugler likes him. Like, there's a lot of people in the draft community that are high on this guy. If he makes sense to the Cowboys at 26, I don't personally think so, but he could be a name that you see added to the mix as it goes on.
There's just no tight end, period. I'm sorry. I mean, for me personally, I ain't speaking for nobody else. I'm not speaking for nobody else. There's no way on God's green earth I'm taking a tight end in the first 3 rounds. There's just not. There's 0 not. On February 10th, and when we look at this team and what's going on right now, there's no damn way. There's just not. I don't care. There's not a guy in this draft that says, "Oh, we should take him." I'm sorry. I will down this hill. I will down this hill. If you don't want to bring back, look, you're not going to bring back Dalton. I'm good with Ferguson and Hendershot. I'm good there. I'm hella good. No, you might need to add a guy. Not in the first rounds. Not where this team is at currently. There's no way on God's green earth you need to go draft a tight end in the first 3 rounds. I will literally pull my beard out if we take a damn tight end in the first 3 rounds. I don't give a shit who on this draft board, period, is tight end that we take them in the first 3 rounds. There's no way. Noah Brown was your number 2 for 5 weeks. Like, what are we talking about here?
But if there's a tight end that the Cowboys view as a dynamic guy, again, I'm not advocating that they take him. I'm just saying he's a name you could add to that mix of guys you'd be surprised at that may emerge.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all. I'm like, this front office is full of shit if they take a tight end in the first 3 rounds. Period.
How about as far as guys rising, regardless of position? How about Parker Washington from Penn State?
Say less.
Yeah, some people saying that he has similar skill set to Steve Smith. Short build, very strong. I mean, is that a guy you feel that can? I can see go to the second or first or late first round.
Oh, I love Hey, look. I'll trade my first for Kyle Pitts before I draft a guy at 26. How about that? If we're getting a tight end, I'll trade my first for Kyle Pitts before I go draft a tight end at 26. The fuck. Sorry.
Spoony, talk to me. Talk to me about Parker Washington.
Nah, Park. I love the comparisons to Steve Smith. I mean, anytime you get a solid comparison to a maybe Hall of Fame in the future Hall of Fame is always great. But strong build. Again, we're going West Coast. I know he's not your average 6'6" between 6 and 6'3", but he's a small, short receiver. But I think that's a guy that could definitely move in the first 2 rounds. I know right now they got him in the third or fourth, kind of like. So I think he can definitely move up.
I think he's going to go in the second round.
Mhm.
I don't think he'll be there for the Cowboys pick. I think he'll go before we pick. But that's one of the things, too, when we talk about the Cowboys profile, what they like. Like, teams have a type. GMs have a type. And obviously, our GMs are owner. And scouts have a type of guy that they like. Coaches have a guy for their system. Like, I like long arms. I'm Dan Quinn. I like guys that have this trait. Wide receiver, we may not have a choice because if you look at the wide receivers, they're shrimps. There's a ton of 5'10", 5'9", 5'11" guys. There's not a ton of 6'3", 6'4". There's a few of them, but the guys on the shorter end of the spectrum are long. There's a long list of those guys. And then the defensive backs are the complete opposite. Like, this is the ultimate DQ draft. There's tons of 6'1", 6'2" cornerbacks. There's not a lot of big receivers this year. So if the Cowboys want that guy, your pool of talent that you're looking at is really small for this draft because there's just not a lot of big body wide receivers this year.
Well, and I mean, look, offensively, and what we're going to find out through the next month and a half is what they look about the system and what's going on and where they are. We know defensively kind of what they like. Offensively, maybe things change, things happen, and we'll see. And it's kind of the way in in the holding pattern, if you will, of seeing. Just don't tell me outside in 26. I'm sorry. I'm triggered.
I do have a question before we launch the mock. This could be Nick,
Sure.
Spoonie, Dom, whoever. What's the difference from a person who I observe offensive linemen, but I'm not a passionate offensive line guy? What would be the difference in a body type or player type that Solari would look for a guard or tackle versus what Philbin would have prioritized? Because that may change what we're looking at in the draft versus what we historically in recent history have looked for.
Voorhees would be the first guy that pops in my mind, White. Dom.
Really?
For this coaching staff and the combo blocking and the with purpose of moving forward, Voorhees would be the first guy that popped. I'm not saying in the first round. No, hold on. I'm not saying it's a first round pick. Yeah. I'm saying from what he does, Voorhees is the first guy that pops in my head of if you're not taking a guy in the first round, right? Of combo blocking, here, purpose, get up, because he has the ability to get there. I think that's kind of the guy that I would look at. But again, for what it's worth, I haven't really looked at the offensive line scheme in that way of Solari. I'm with you there. That's a great question, though, and what we talked about. But Voorhees kind of pops out of my head immediately.
Yeah, the thing that is, I'm glad you brought it up because combo blocking is important. And whenever you do for his scheme, and anytime you're talking about an offensive line coach who starts to preach certain things, the thing that he really stresses over everything is when you are in the run game, for example, the first thing you got to really key in on when you're in the run game is getting your stance proper. I mean, I was trying to tell you about, teaching your kids who are Pop Warner or Pee Wee, whatever it may be, like as a lineman, how do you really block? So he's going to focus on that. He wants guys who are going to be initially quick out of the stance. He probably would not have liked Tyler Smith last year because Tyler was always the last out of his stance at tackle, and he started to correct that in Dallas by game 3. So don't look at the tape and think, oh, that dude's the last out of his stance. More so look at the tape to see, is he an agile player? Can he move? You could see that in Tyler. So look for guys who got some initial quickness, guys who are more smart in getting to their spot and then turning on the aggression. So that's what you really need. You don't have to have super athletic guys like what we had in like a Connor Williams, who's now gone off to Miami, went to center for them, and he's excelling in that Shanahan system. Let's call it what it is. But you can have guys who are a little bit bigger that still have that initial burst, and they're smart to have the vision to know it's time for me to hand off this defensive tackle and
Right.
go towards the linebacker or whoever first color flashes in front of your eyes. So he's probably
So I'm glad you brought that up because at the Senior Bowl, I found a clip. It was I think it was Spears. I'm pretty sure they hit Spears on the screen, and you see the center and the guard. And I feel like the guard was from Virginia, maybe Ole Miss, something like that. It was a navy blue helmet with
Ole
red
Miss.
script. So
It was Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Okay. So a name that's being brought up in the chat a lot. I'll pull it up.
I'm sorry. Go
Wrong
ahead.
name.
Go ahead.
There we
Go
go.
ahead.
So a lot of people are really high on John Michael Schmidt, and on this particular play, hopefully we'll pull it up at some point, maybe next Friday or something like that. But you see the center getting out in space and making a block to lead block for Spears on this play, and you see the guard also getting out into space, and there's a defender right in front of him that I think he should have picked up, and he completely missed him and went on to the next block. He went to pick up a safety instead of the linebacker. So Spears makes a really good cut, a really quick jump step to get back inside, which he shouldn't have had to do. There should have been an alley, but the guy moving in space just didn't have the vision. So I'm just bringing that up because that goes to what Dom was saying. And again, the reason I asked that is because we have to remember not every year, but sometimes you have coaching changes and they're at significant positions, and the guys that you looked for in the last 2 or 3 drafts may not be the type they're looking for this year. So when you're looking at a West Coast offense, quick passes, rhythm passing schemes, screens that we haven't been able to run well are a big part of this. So having guys that can move in space, they don't have to run a 4.8 40 or anything crazy like that. They could be a 325-pound guard, but they have to be able to have that agility. So I wanted to bring it up because I'm also not offensive line guy. I know you guys are much bigger into it than I am, but I thought it was worth asking because I think a lot of other people probably look at line like I do, where I'm like, I know it's typically like the body type you might look for on a given year from a draft perspective, but this year might be different because of the offensive line change and also the offensive system change.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because the Cowboys obviously have a gap at left guard, right? And, if they don't address that in the agency, there's not a guy in the wings, right? Is there a guy on this roster right now that's in the wings that y'all think could be the left guard? Am I tripping or no? I want to ask y'all real quick. Spoonie, anybody?
Absolutely not.
No? Okay. So if we go back to our last year talks going into the draft and what was happening, and Connor Williams, like Groundhog Day, Connor Williams was gone, left guard. Well, who's the guy? Oh my God, we gotta get a guy. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. And going through the process, we talked about this a lot extensively. You didn't have to get the guy in the first round. There was guys to be had after the first round that. And the proof is in the pudding for the guys that you guys named specifically. And you say you're not an offensive line guy. That's cool. I like that. However, guys that you liked have done very well. Like I'll pop the collar for you.
So I know what I see, but I don't know why. Like,
yeah,
hopefully that makes sense. And there's probably guys that do that with the receivers. Like you can watch him be like, he's a baller, but you don't understand that he's really good at doing a diamond release or head feints or things like that lead into it. I don't know the nuance, but I feel like I have a pretty good assessment from the eyeball test. But I don't understand that it's the hand placement or the grab and snatch and all the stuff Dom's talking about. I'm like, cool, yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
I will say
sometimes it tells you what it is. But here's the thing about it, and I said all that to say this. I've watched enough tape on Voorhees. If I took him in the 3rd round, I'm pretty good if I understand enough what they're going to do offensively, okay? If they're going to do it offensively, and I'm looking at the offensive line coach, Solari, and I'm looking at Schottenheimer, and I'm looking at what's happening here, I can take Voorhees in the 3rd round, and I'm okay as a starter at left guard. I'm telling y'all now, that's where I'm at currently. February 10th, I'm going to do some more work and whatever, but I think he can walk in. I think currently right now, that might change as we go through the underwear Olympics and things are happening. I think the Cowboys can get him in the 3rd round. I think you can plug and play him in left guard, and you're going to feel pretty good about it right now.
I do want to ask one more thing to you guys before we jump into it too.
Right.
So from what I've heard from the offensive line class this year, and again, we talked about receivers being shorter this year and defensive backs being longer this year. Every year is different. There's not the typical 7 or 8 guys that are tackles that really are going to be better guards in the NFL. that's a
great
normal
point,
thing
oh.
you can pretty much
Bro,
count
that's a
for every
great-
single year. This year, there's not a long list of
That's
guys
a
that
great
are like,
point, oh. That's a great point. There's none of these tackles are going to. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
No.
you just hold on. I gotta hit this. Man, that is a great point about this draft that nobody's talking about. Oh, I want to highlight what you just said. There's a lot of years of there's like 4 or 5 tackles. Oh, slide them inside, you're fine. That's not the case. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, step on yourselves. Go right ahead. That's a great point.
no, that's it. That's the end of my statement. So where I was going with that is, are there any guys like Dom, for instance? You're definitely a big O-line guy. Is there a couple guys that maybe when we launch this mock that may show up as tackle that we really should be looking at as guard?
Wow. So the first person that kind of jumps to mind is Matt Bergeron from Syracuse.
Syracuse, yeah.
He's the one that I was highlighting in some of the little clips to y'all. He has all of the movement skills. He can get to any spot on the field from his tackle position, and he's got enough functional strength and also to be able to anchor. And he's a long limb guy, body wise. He kind of puts you in the mind of Connor Williams, just already in Connor Williams's third year NFL body, not the one that he entered in with being 296 coming out of Texas. So I think he's already there at that 315 and just adding strength. So he's one that you could move inside. He'd probably take you the second round pick to get him. But in this draft, I would do something that I haven't seen done in the NFL much. It's super rare. The last guy that I can remember that has done it and been successful and is well known is Damian Woody. He's now on ESPN. You know, Woody was a college guard, and they slid him into the center position.
Yeah.
And then he played a little bit of both. But I'm looking at a guy that's playing center. Excuse me. Woody was a center, and they moved him to guard. So I'm looking at a couple of centers in this draft that are huge guys, and you normally don't see that out of centers. So John Michael Schmitz, which I brought up just a while ago, and Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin. The Minnesota
From what school?
You have John Michael Schmitz out
From
of
Wisconsin,
Minnesota,
right?
and then Joe Tippmann, Wisconsin. Another Wisconsin guy. So getting
going
them
back to back,
allowing them to play potentially left guard and having that positional flex value. You never know what may happen with Biotish in another year where he might get the bag. Can you retain him? Or, Lord forbid, he may go down. What do you have behind him? And so you could slide in one of those guys who has all of this great experience. So there are 2 centers that I would take in round 2 and see what I can do with them at left guard.
Oh, hold on. If you take them in round 2, are they starting left guard, or are you going to see what they can do at left guard?
I'm starting them at left guard.
Okay. 10-4. Just
Next, to be clear, the guard I take in the 5th round is my starting left guard because I'm finding these guys in the late round. That's true. That's the way I look.
Who's your guy in the 5th round, though?
Man,
you have a guy? Okay, fair enough. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, look, Matt Waletzko is not going to be a guard. I want to be clear. It's my guy, White came in. At best, he's a swing tackle, or depending on what happens with Tyron Smith, he could be your starting right tackle. We don't know. That there's some future projections we don't know yet.
They love Waletzko.
But boy, sheesh.
They love him.
On that point. With that being said, though, let's get into and let's wrap up here. As we said, we're going to talk about a little thrown together. We're getting here. We'll do a little bit more breakdown of these prospects and kind of get into some different positions as we move forward. But every single time, we're going to end with a live mock draft. Okay, so as we're getting in here, y'all are ready. Y'all are locked in. All right, no
trades or no trades.
No trades. We're never going to do
no trades. Just stick and pick. Got it.
Every week, no trades. Stick and pick. We'll get to a point. Maybe no trades. No trades, and then we'll eventually do a pencils down moment. This is the final one, and this is what we're rolling with. Okay. So let me.
And remember too, the guys that we're picking right now at 26. This draft board from PFF will look completely different in 2 weeks.
Facts.
So
big facts.
Remember
All
that.
right. So let me scroll up here. So our guy Jalen Carter, number 1. Bryce Young, number 2. Miles Murphy, number 3. Will Levis, number 4 to the Colts. Wilson to the Seahawks.
So that's the Russ Wilson pick right there.
Breezy, the boy Brian to the Lions at 6. Stroud, CJ Stroud makes it to 7 to the Raiders.
Right.
That means they didn't get A-Rod.
Facts. Anthony Richardson, really weird here at 8 to the Falcons. To me, a little bit. But hey, whatever.
Can I advocate for that real quick?
Oh, by all means.
Sure, I'll be super quick. So you have a coaching staff, Arthur Smith, former Titans OC. He's probably on the last year as the head coach of this organization, unless they can turn around and have a winning season.
Mm-hmm.
They had a top 10 pick and took a tight end without having a quarterback in place. They had a top 10 pick and took a wide receiver, again, without having a quarterback in place. You're now going into a season with Ritter as your quarterback, and he played, 3 games or something last year. He was a mid-round pick. So I could see that. Maybe to save your job as the head coach, you may be like, hey, I'm going to bet on a quarterback that will maybe give me a couple more years to turn things around. So that's the way that it makes sense. But this team also was like last in the league in sacks, so they desperately need an edge rusher.
Well, Brian Branch, safety to the Panthers. Paris Johnson, the tackle to the Eagles. Look. I know that, but I'm just giving you what they say. Because
Panthers defensive backs are sick if they add Branch to go with J.C. Horn.
I'm just going with it. Will Anderson makes it to the Titans.
Ooh.
Yeah, Van Ness from Iowa, the edge to the Texans. Witherspoon, cornerback off the board, Illinois. The Patriots take offensive tackle from Northwestern. Big shock, right? Ooh, Quentin Johnston to the Packers. Ooh. Gonzalez, Oregon, cornerback to Washington. Bijan. Wow, that's crazy, right? Bijan to the Steelers? Okay, they're out on your boy. All right. A wide receiver the Cowboys Nation would love goes to the Detroit Lions. Jackson Smith. I ain't going to do the last name. Ohio State. Stanford quarterback to the Bucks. Okay. Nolan Smith makes it to 20 to the Seahawks. Zay Flowers. Number 1 on my very first mock draft this season. But, look, Keenan Allen leaving. That seems to be the realm. New offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. They got to give him a weapon. The Cowboys didn't do that this year, but here they are. They get Zay Flowers. Oh, a tight end to the. Oh wow, the Ravens take a tight end. Wowzers, big shock. Cam Smith, favorite here in Cowboys Nation, a cornerback. At least for me, I don't know if y'all feel the same way. I would love Cam Smith at 26, by the way. But there, 23. Harrison, tackle, Oklahoma. Boom. Broderick Jones, as well. John took a tackle last year in the first, of course, that was top, 5, 8, whatever. Man, let's take one this way. And then the Cowboys are on the clock. We got options, ladies and gentlemen. And is all the... here's what I love right now. Let me get back over here. Here's what I love right now. As I'm doing double mock drafts on Fridays, and I started the mock drafts at the end of January, and here we are, and we talk about them in the back channels. I have yet to run a PFF mock draft with these kind of options. I have yet to run one. What a perfect time for us to have our inaugural draft show / mock draft show with all these options. All these options, Spoonie. All these options, Dom. All these options, though. And of course, we set the table that we cannot trade back. So here we are. Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC on the board. Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State on the board. Osiris Torrance, guard on the board. Trenton Simpson, linebacker.
How funny is it that arguably the 4 biggest needs for the Cowboys are all right there?
They're right there. Hey, look, and Dom, if you want to be a little sexy, No, I ain't even talking about this side in from Morgan State. I ain't gonna do that. But that big D lineman from Baylor right there on the board. Right there.
I really got my
There's Carter. There's Carter. Wait a minute. There's Carter.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me go back down. Not there, Army Carter.
There that kid is.
There he is. Josh Downs. He's there. Hey.
Can't see.
All right. Drew Sanders on the bill. Eli Riggs. I mean, Cody Mach. I mean, man, a plethora of riches. Look.
If this happened, man,
Ringo.
as a Cowboys fan, I'm thrilled. I'm like, we can't mess this up. Like, there's several good players here.
It's true, and here's the thing, like obviously in the exercises we're going to do moving forward, we are not moving back. However, if this was the lay of the land when the Cowboys are on the clock, man, there's no way in hell the Cowboys should not move back 2 or 3 picks, in my opinion. Do y'all? Well, I mean, if this was the lay of the land, are you sticking and picking, or are you moving back?
I would move back, but I mean, I think that would be the smart thing to do. There's just so many good players; it'd be really hard to mess this up.
All right, Dom, are you sticking and picking, or are you moving back?
I'm sticking and picking.
Oh, pause! Don't say nothing.
That means
else.
Dom has a guy. I can't wait to hear this.
Say nothing else. Hold on. Spoony, are you sticking and picking, or are you moving back?
I'm staying.
Team trade.
Okay.
Down.
So
give
what
me
we have right now is it's a 50-50 split. Because I'm with you. I'm moving back. I can move back 2-3 spots and I'm completely okay here. I can easily move back 2 or 3 spots and feel completely ecstatic about what's happening. So me and O get to chill. Right now. Now, Dom. No, yeah, I'm doing. I'm moving back. Right now with what's on the board right here, 2-3 picks to move back and get an extra 3rd or 4th. I'm running. I'm out. But now, Dom and Spoon are sticking and picking. So we get to chill. Let me hear. Domino, y'all are definitely into the war room. Y'all don't want to move back. Me and O want to move back. That's for the war room right now. Y'all want to stick and pick. Me and O is like, okay, well, tell us who y'all want to stick and pick for, and let us figure out, and then we'll decide.
Spoon, you want the first hack at this?
Thank you.
Sure. I got 2 players. It's either Joey.
No, you got it now. You're sticking and picking.
Well, I got to take one. I have my choice.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going with Joey Porter Jr.
Okay. And who's your second then?
My second would have been Siaki.
Okay. All right.
That's not where I thought you were going, Spoony. Interesting.
Okay.
Getting our first
Dom,
Jerry Steven fight.
Dom, where you sticking? You said you're sticking. What you picking?
Joey Porter Jr.
Okay. Who's your number 2?
Addison, and it's a close number 2.
Like a hair, or like how close is it?
A comfortable little. If one is 13th on my board, the other one is 15th. But
What does your board say, Dom? Who would you take?
So earlier when we talked about packaging the 1st and 3rd to move up to 15, Porter would have been a borderline guy that I would have done something like that for, because I think he's top 3 cornerback in this draft. I think he's worth a top 20 pick, and you just got a top 20 player right there at 26. So why am I gonna be cute and play with that and lose value by somebody that is going to be lower on my board? Because Addison is going to go off this thing quick. Somebody's calling to jump into the round to get him. And as much as I love Ika and a couple of others, Drew Sanders is there. To me, there's a wide gap between those guys and a guy like Porter.
Okay, so even Osiris and Simpson, the linebacker, big gap.
That's one of the key things is you do get guard 1, you get linebacker option 1. But the argument in our draft room would be, how are we stacking these cornerbacks?
Okay.
So for some of y'all, you might rather have Ringo over a Porter. And I would argue I'd rather have Porter at this point
Mm.
because I think I have a guy who has a higher floor. I think Ringo is the higher ceiling type guy. When you're that big, that fast, he just needs to put the game needs to come more to him. He needs to put it all together. So I'm going Porter here. I got me a top 20 player at 26.
So can I throw another angle too? Because it's been brought up in the chat too.
Sure.
This is a deep cornerback draft. So if you look at the wide receivers available, you have Addison. We have Josh Downs.
Yeah.
You have
Hold on.
Hyatt,
I can give
guys
you,
like
I can
that.
give you the. Let me give you the entire wide receiver room right now. How about that?
So as you
Let
do
me pull
that,
it up.
as
So
you
we
do
have
that,
Edison, we have Downs, Dale, Parker Washington, Hyatt, Rice, Tillman, AT from my guy Eddie O. I know you're not a buyer. I know you and Eddie O been going back and forth. Trey, Scott, Mims. So I mean,
Now pull up
yeah,
cornerback. Let's look at the difference there. Just
cornerback. Okay, let's go to cornerback then. Let's go to
because
cornerback.
I think we're pretty
got
much in
you.
a consensus as those
got you.
two guys.
I got you. Let me go to corner real quick.
Because I know Emmanuel Forbes is there, and I would love him. Eli Ricks is an interesting guy. You have Ringo.
Porter, Ricks, Ringo, Forbes, Garrett Williams, who's interesting to me. Banks from Maryland, Thomason from TCU, Stevenson, Miami. I think ultimately going through the process here for about 3 weeks, I think I'm very much higher on Jalen Jones than anybody else, but that's just me. It's fair. From A&M, Phillips from Utah, Martin from Illinois as well, Bennett from Maryland, Moss, Iowa. So that's kind of where you're at right now.
So I think, and the reason I wanted to look at that is, I think we would all agree the cornerback group is deeper than the wide receiver group right now. So now it's a matter of, is Porter the better player than Addison? That's how you make that pick.
I would actually disagree with that.
Okay.
I would
Go
think
ahead, sir.
I would think wide receiver would hold up better on day 2 than cornerback would. Even in high round in day 2 and round 2, I really believe receiver would hold up a little bit better. However, if you just say give me Addison at this pick too, I'm not fighting too hard.
All right, so we got two Porters. Nix and I, one of us will be the deciding vote, or I guess we could both go the same way. So, Nix, who's your pick here?
So, Spoonie, you're Porter?
Yeah, I'm Porter. Porter starts day 1. Addison, I don't know if he's going to start day 1. That's the thing about it, depending on what we do in free agency, stuff like that.
Dom's Porter.
Porter.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Well, I asked you, but I'll go ahead. So, Addison is super tempting right now. He's super, super tempting because I can see how he fits in this offense and what he could do for Dak. I just think Porter's the better player, so Porter would be my pick as well.
Here's where I'm at. And the Cowboys need playmakers. They do. And for me personally, and I've had this conversation already with O, I actually think Porter's going to be on the board for the Cowboys. And again, there are cornerbacks I would put above him, period. But my grade on him is late first, early second. I don't know if Addison's going to be here, though. And that's crazy to me that Addison... No, look, I'll say this right now. I think there's no way on God's green earth that Addison and Porter are on the board right now in the Cowboys pick. And if they are, holy crap, and we're live and doing the content here, we're going to lose our minds. And again, this is why the ultimate trade back. I think wide receiver at this point is deeper than corner. I just do. This is going to break Eddie O's heart. It's a clean sweep for me.
All right, Nick's ready?
I'm taking Porter right here. I'm with the 26th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Dallas Cowboys select cornerback Joey Porter Jr., Penn State University.
Like a pause.
Kiss the baby.
and shakes his hand. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, Micah would love that pick.
Bloodline. And maybe Micah influences that. I don't know. I'm just joking.
Honestly,
Sorry,
There's
guys.
some names already. There's a name that people are talking about on the board.
honestly, that was a run it up type pick.
Dom, that's not true. There's too many guys there. There's too many guys that just run it up. We had a conversation. Now, there might be a run it up moment here, though. Maybe.
Hey, there's a guy right there that I see that nobody's talking about. Sidney Brown. Hey, this is way too high for him. And it's kind of unique that this simulator has actually shot him up the boards like this. But he is a quality safety. And he's a little guy, so you know how the league tends to hate on the little guys. But if you haven't checked into Sidney Brown, he's a good player.
There's my pick.
There's my guy.
That's my favorite play in this draft. Is she right?
There's my
Jerry's
guy.
son.
Look at that wide receiver group that's left, guys. What did we do at 26? Look at the wide receiver room that's left.
I want his
It's
son.
so bad. It's so bad.
Look what happened right before us.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Hyatt, Dell, back to back.
Yeah, we did. Let's scroll back up here. Let's scroll back up. Let me scroll back up. Let me scroll back up here. So after we picked, I'm going.
He went to the Bills. See,
Addison
went to the Bills.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Osiris, the Bengals, what an amazing pick there. Just to be clear. And look, if the Eagles want that side in, by all means, go ahead. Thank you. Please and thank you. Second round here, though. Oh, Josh Downs off the board.
Benefit Deontay.
Johnson, boom, Carter. Oh, Army. Shots to Carter getting up out of here. Ooh, Kincaid makes a lot of sense, right? Because maybe their tight ends on the trade block for the Raiders.
And they took a quarterback. They got C.J. Stroud in the first round.
Yeah, that part. Eli Ricks going to the Saints. Like it. Oh, Drew Sanders over to the Dadgum Browns.
Look at the Jets defensive backs now. Sauce Gardner, Emmanuel Forbes. Bro, they're doing a good job.
Building that. Another tight end. Boy, tight end's heavy right here. Here's the Packers getting a tight end. Go Dogs. Shots our guy. Oh goodness, I got the hiccups. Ringo. Ringo goes to the Bucks. Safety.
So this is one of the fun things about mock drafts. Look at the Steelers pick. They took Charbonnet. They also took a running back in the first round. So they went back-to-back running back picks, even though they have a running back already. So
they love it.
Yeah, give me the running backs.
And of course, I mean, look. Here's the thing about Kellen Moore, right? First round, right? First round. Let me scroll back up here real quick. If history reminds me, Zay Flowers, and then let's go to the second round here for them, and he gets Gibbs. Wow,
Gibbs and Eckler,
bruh. Yeah, you feel me? And then, of course, here's what happens. The wide receiver run happens before the Cowboys. And look, here's the thing about it. Forget how the board falls, right, in general, and some things we're talking about. But there's a propensity here with the teams in front because of the algorithm that it could be wide receivers brought before the Cowboys. And it turns into Parker Washington, Dale, Tank Dell, and then Hyatt, which is the Cowboys on the clock at 58 and where we are currently. So it could be a run on wide receivers. And look, it makes sense, right? Giants, they have an issue at wide receiver. Fair. Carolina, Christian Kirk, some other guys indifferent. And of course the Lions, they have some issues there as well. So there's a propensity for in this, exercise that wide receiver could go on a run here. So now the Cowboys on the clock. If you don't take, which I love Rice, by the way. I made him the godson of Jerry already. I'm just trying to marry a Rice to a West Coast offense. That's all I'm trying to do. If you don't take him, where are you going? Are you going to Cedric Tillman? You like that? You like Jalen out of Fresno? You like A.T. Perry, Wake Forest? Trey Palmer?
I like Trey Palmer, but not at this pick. But yeah, right.
Trey Palmer, Tyler Scott's another guy there. Look, look, I do like Marvin Mims a lot. Right? So I will pivot back over here just to the top of what they have. Where you at, guys? Is it wide receiver time, or is there a position you want to look at and get into?
So just revisionist history with what the board is right now. We could have had Addison and maybe Garrett Williams if you want to go that route.
Maybe.
We could have had Torrance. I don't know that really changes where we draft right now on the board. So
right.
This is a
Garrett Williams is major medical guy, ACL.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
second round. That's what we go for. Red flags, medical, off the field. That's what we do.
It's been a while, but I feel you. I mean,
2 years, but yeah.
I know what I would do with this pick.
Okay, what would you do, Dom?
I'd do a Howie Roseman. I'd
It's
take
awesome, Goose.
Hendon Hooker.
Wow. I just can't. I can't do that. This pick, like if round 3, you're talking to me. But right now, I'm like, he turned 25 in January. He's already a 25-year-old rookie. He's coming off an ACL, so he's probably not going to be ready until he says he's going to be ready for training camp. No way in hell. He's going to be a guy that's ready as the season goes on. That's too rich for me with what we need. But I understand the player. Like if he was not hurt, he's a top 15 guy in this draft. And the Cowboys love to say, well, he was the top 15 guy on our board, and we got him in round 2. Like, we hear that all the time. But I couldn't do that.
There's just no way. Because let me pivot. There's no way if the Cowboys extend Dak that would happen. In my opinion. Now, third round, you can talk me into it, though, Dom. Third round, you can talk me into it. Right here, when you look at the wide receiver board, there's just no way. To me, this is a slam dunk. You take Rice, you move on. That's where I am currently. Now, I can easily pivot into any other position that you want to look at. But for me, currently, I'm Rice and walk away. And look, and if Hooker's there in the third round, that's a much deeper conversation for me. Right here, no way for me. That's where I'm at.
So getting Jody's kid.
I was just throwing that out there just to bring up a very unique situation that potentially could be in the back of their minds if Dak isn't extended.
That's fair.
Now,
That's fair.
I wouldn't take Hooker here. However, I don't think Cowboys fans should be looking at a day 2 pick and having that urgency to have that guy start immediately. This might be a guy that will work himself into the starting lineup halfway in the season if he's got that mental capacity to be able to pick up the playbook and to accept that NFL coaching. So I'm just going to go purely who is highest on my board out of the people that are available. And so Rashee Rice would be one of them. But that center would be another. And I just saw the tackle, Bergeron, would be another in that mix. And like I said, Bergeron has that ability to slide inside potentially and be your starting left guard. Just depends on what we did in free agency.
Okay. Tough sledding here.
So I think this is the pick that we were 4 for 4 in round 1. I don't know that we'll get a 4 for 4 in this pick.
No, we won't. Because I'm telling you now, I looked at the wide receiver room. I'm taking Rice. That's where I'm at. I'm taking Rice. That's where I'm planting my.
So Spoonie's on Rice. Nix is taking Rice. Dom mentioned that Rice is one of the higher guys on his board, but he has JMS higher than him. So Dom, is JMS your pick, or who are you taking there?
I actually got a sneaky one that y'all probably aren't on. Tyler Scott, Cincinnati.
I like Scott.
I feel like that's early for him, but the wide receiver run may force our hand, right? That might be a guy you're looking at earlier.
I'm not going to wait. For me, I'm not going to wait. I can't bank on another third round guy. Currently, as the team's constituted, that's where I'm at. I'm on Rice. I like Scott though. I'm not mad at Scott though, but and we talked about it on the space anyways. But I'm on Rice. Like right here in how this board looks, I'm taking Rice currently.
Get
for
him.
me.
Get him.
No,
Hold
I
on.
mean,
Not O.
I'm waiting for O. O ain't said nothing yet. I'm waiting to see where O was at.
So there's a name brought up in the chat. He's not in PFF mocks yet. Next update, he will be. So we can't take him now, even if he is a guy we'd consider here.
We'll get him next week. We'll get him next week, though.
Next week or whatever. We can talk about
this.
that. Rice is a tough one for me because I genuinely do like him. I don't like him for our offense at all because he's not a separation guy. He is a yak guy. Great effort, really good run blocker. There's a lot of things to like about him. He's a good contested catch guy. He's not a guy that gets a ton of separation, and that's what I'm looking for. Like this year, I want a separator, an easy move the chains guy, and I don't think he's that guy. For a lot of offenses, sure, absolutely. But he's the best receiver on the board, and I think our hands are forced now, depending on what we did in free agency. So I agree with you. I would take Rice, but I don't love that pick.
Where did Kayshawn Booty go?
He's just not in the PFF mocks
He's not
yet.
there yet. He's not there. He's coming.
He hasn't went yet. He's a guy right now. If it was between him and Rice, I would take Kayshawn. But he's not here, so we can't talk about him.
Right.
Although I think there's a conversation for the scheme to be had, but neither here nor there. We're taking Rice here at number 2. Second round, that is. We're going to pivot. Yeah. But number whatever the hell that damn thing was.
58.
There we go. Rice.
So
I'm sorry. I
Now we
fumbled
took
the bag.
Hooker.
I fumbled the bag. I fumbled the bag there. My
That
fault.
still
My
ended
fault.
up being 4 for 4.
Yeah. Now you got to take Hooker.
Oh, wait.
It wasn't an excited 4 for 4 though. Last time we all felt good about it. This time I'm like,
Yeah,
Probably who
it's
you'd
where
take,
it was.
but-
I mean, it's where it was. It's where it was. But
it was
I'm
a
excited.
Dallas
Look,
day
look,
though, guy.
I'll be honest though, I'm excited about Rice personally because I look at SMU, what they run, and whatever the case may be, and I think about the West Coast offense and what's going on. I think he'll be okay in that system. I think he's going to give you more separation than what you might think, but time will tell. Time will tell, though. Time will tell.
Next, we got a request. If you can just give a quick update on our 2 picks.
All right, so in the first round, we went out here and we took Joey Porter Jr. cornerback, Penn State University. That's who we had, Mark. And then in the second round, we just stayed right there in the greater East Texas area and took Rice from SMU at wide receiver. That's where we are currently. The one thing they could do in this draft simulator is you could hit something and see what you took, and they don't have that. I don't know why they should have that, but neither here nor there. On to the third round. Now Hooker's there. Now, Dom, I can listen a little bit. Here.
See, I have my pick already. I'm locked in. Go ahead, Dom.
I need to see a few more players down this board.
No.
Nope, I'm good. I'm
Because
locked
I
in.
actually like this guy at Florida. I'm scrolling.
Oh,
Where's the cornerback there?
Nah, you took Porter already.
oh,
Running back.
Oh, it's
I'm
getting
still.
deep.
This is good. Oh, Chris Smith too. Talk to me.
It's getting thick.
No,
It's
I have my
on.
pick locked in, and Voorhees is available. Yeah.
Oh.
This is pretty. See, third round, I'm like, okay. We're
it's
cooking
getting
now.
thick.
Round 2,
it's
I'm like,
getting thick. It's getting thick.
Dorian
I like
Williams,
this
that's a good
third round. The second round, the first round, there was too many options. We kind of stabbed and took. So we got to the second round. It kind of handcuffed us. But boy, this third round is interesting. This third round is very interesting. So, Smony, where are you at right now in this third round?
You know what? I'm between 2, Hooker
All right.
and the running back from A&M.
A-Chain.
Yeah,
A-Chain.
Yeah.
those are my 2 picks right there.
I mean, you gotta
But
let your
we have no backup quarterback. We don't have no backup quarterback. Rush will sign with the Chargers.
Whoa! We got Will Grissom in the Will Grissom in the
Well,
building. man.
that's fine. a future backup.
Joe Tippmann. Joe
Just
Tippmann's
in
out there too.
case. I would go with Hookup. Hookup, the running back. Those are my two picks right
You
there.
going? You,
Oh, this
you
is
going
the one that we're
Hooker
gonna
or
have. The
A-Train?
chat's gonna have to help us on this one. I can already tell we're not gonna have a consensus here.
Okay.
All right. Oh. Who's your guy?
I do like
who's
Chris
your guy
Smith
here?
in Georgia, though.
Scroll up a little bit.
All right.
That's my
Slow down. One more down. There we go. I'm taking the TCU guard, Steve Avila here. That's my pick. I tell you guys all the time, I'm a offensive line guy in the mid rounds. I love him. I would absolutely take him here. This is a perfect spot for me.
Hey,
And I have my left guard locked in now.
can y'all tell the draft show guys it's not Avelia, it's Avila.
Oh, Avila.
Just help them out next time.
Avila.
You know,
yeah.
there's one guy that I see that really excites me.
Okay. Who's that? Who's that, Dom?
Nick Herbig.
He's good.
Ooh,
Good player.
Okay. Yeah.
The chat so far, they're feeling it. They're feeling the Avila pick.
He adds so much versatility from a linebacking standpoint, but he's best moving forward off the edge. Pair him with
Maybe the Cowboys' redemption from not taking the other Watt.
for real.
So, Nix, if you hit analysis, by the way, right next to trade, it'll show you the percentages of guys that have been picked at that spot. Just kind of, it's right next to the trade button.
Talking about ADP?
No. Right next to trade, where you see draft a player, right under the Dallas Cowboys, you see draft, trade, and analysis. Click analysis.
Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah, got you. All right, so pick position right here. Linebacker 26.8, D-line 21.1, wide receiver 13.8, and cornerback 11.4.
So just so you guys know, for those that don't use the mock draft, that's just what people that drafted for the Cowboys took at that spot. That's all it is. But it's just interesting to look at.
And it says with their first round 3 selection. Boom.
Yeah.
So just gives you a little deeper. So all right, come on, Dom, give it to me.
Steve, that's my pick.
There's only one starter, I think, out of these guys that could immediately start.
Mm.
Well, two.
Okay, who's your two? Who's your two starters and who you take?
Clark Phillips III. We already got a corner, but Clark Phillips III is an impact player right now.
Okay,
but he'd be your fourth corner right now, though.
He doesn't fit our measurables and all that. But the starter is Steve Avila. You got your starting left guard right now. That's a run it to the podium thing right there.
Okay.
But it's
and for those who don't know, did he play left guard or right guard in college?
He played left guard, and that's what we need. But he also,
I know. I just want to throw it. I'm just for those that don't know.
Center versatility. So much value.
See, here's where I'm at, guys. Here's where I'm at. Is
with us.
Look,
Voorhees.
All right, so I told you earlier, I like Voorhees. I think Voorhees is a guy. He's a dude. Okay, within this system. The other thing that gives me an issue. I don't know if y'all watched Dexter's tape yet or not. And the Cowboys like to take D tackles in the 3rd round. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. I know y'all did. I'm just remedial there. Dexter's boy, have y'all not looked at Dexter's tape? I mean, Dom, have you watched Dexter yet from Florida?
Yeah, you want my scouting report?
Give it to me.
So this kid is 6'6". Mm-hmm. He looks bigger, girthier than what he really is. They've listed him at, I think, 303.
Right.
My issue with him is the same issue I have with Bohanna. Stand straight up. Exposing his chest. Pad level is not low. I don't see a high motor out of him. I don't see a guy with lateral agility and quickness. But I see a guy when he makes his mind up and he's fresh. He's got that bully ball in him. So you see those flashes, and that's where you go, all right, maybe I can get him in, maybe I can mold him, maybe I can get him in shape. Dallas also rotates their D lineman anyway, so he's got the ability to stay fresh along that line. He's also a massive guy. We need a guy like that. and you fall in love with the length as well to be able to get a lineman off. But that's the other problem. I don't see a guy with great shed ability, hand usage. I don't see him with a secondary move. It's just simply all bull, and he's got to be on. To me, he is a round 3 value. I'm not saying like he's a terrible player. You would be getting him right where he's worth, but there's just several players here that are much higher. I'd even go A-Chain over him. I'd go Steve Avila. There's just a number of guys here. Herbig, that excites me when I saw him still on the board. I just could not skip over all of that value for a guy who's still going to be somewhat of a developmental player coming out.
Right. And it's a great point. Oh, go ahead.
If Hendon Hood never got injured, is he a first round pick or a second round pick?
I think where he was trending, yeah, he probably would have been a top 15 pick even with his age, in my opinion.
So now let's go with that. We're saying top 15 pick, and you're in the third round because of injury. We understand we're not replacing Dak. At the same time, we understand we have to reconstruct this contract, X, Y, and Z. If they don't reconstruct this contract, we understand right on the wall is they may want to look in another direction. Wouldn't a guy named Hendon Hooker be the best BPA available? I mean, let's be honest. Dak is getting older. He's 30. I'm not saying he has injury history.
Hooker's 25. He's old too, though.
He's 25. I understand. But he's fresh. I mean, he will be
still
fresh.
5 years younger, right?
5 years younger. I mean, do you think it's a risk to take him now, being that he would have been a top 15 pick? Or
do you want a backup quarterback possibly, or a starting left guard,
or starting one tech or whatever,
or starting one tech possibly? So that's what it kind of boils down to for the Cowboys in that realm.
Well, I
hear you. Look, I'm not mad at Hooker here. Like Spoon, I'm not mad at Hooker here.
But Tyron Smith, if Tyron's coming back and Tyler's playing guard, right? Or is it Tyler playing left tackle?
No, that's not going to happen because Steele's.
Spoon, you can't go that route because I tried that earlier and you guys weren't having it.
No, Steele's not going to be ready, so it's not going to happen.
I told you, I warm up to you.
Look, for me personally, if Steve is not here from TCU and everybody else is here, ultimately I'm taking Hooker or Dexter. And I probably lean more towards Dexter. But right now, and how this draft currently is going, and what we've done so far, it has to be the guard from TCU, in my opinion, guys. I think that's where we're at.
If you're saying Villa's a starter, then I'm still picking Hooker. That's my pick.
Okay. Oh, well. Next week, maybe you're not outvoted, but this week, Spoon, go. No.
Vila.
With the 93rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys take Steve. Hit him with the last name there, Spoon.
Avila.
From TCU. Boom. Moving forward.
Feeling good about this draft.
You feeling pretty good about it? Okay. I like it. Look. I'm gonna tell you immediately why I don't feel good about this draft. Because if I get Mims in the 4th round, ladies and gentlemen, I'm good with not taking nobody in the first 3 rounds, wide receiver wise. I like Mims a lot. I like Marvin Mims a ton.
Give us a little taste of what it is that Mims offers that you like. Right. I agree. He's on my list of receivers that I would love.
And I mean, here's the thing. Oklahoma obviously went through a
coaching
transition period. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
with their coach leaving and different things or whatever. And of course, as my guy Eddie O keeps telling me, I like 5'5" wide receivers. He's not 5'5". I know they're going to tell you he's 5'11". Maybe he's 5'9". We're just dealing within those realms. But as we were talking about earlier, though, Dom, about the twitch, right? The twitch. He has the twitch. You feel me? Like he has that. And you look at certain things that dude, he averaged over 20 yards per reception the last 2 years. Just, just certain things that he does, and look, I'm gonna pull you a card about he watched Quentin Johnston. Lone Star High School is right down the road from me. I watched him in high school as well, so that's right around the realms of me. And like watching him within what he does, the two things that stick out for me for him here as we're talking about the fourth round when it comes to Marvin Mims is simply this. As a wide receiver, he tracks the ball well.
Right.
He tracks, like you go and look at his reps, he tracks it well. And I'm not disrespecting nobody else in the room. He attacks the ball. There's certain wide receivers in the first round, they don't attack the ball well. And Professor O, who played wide receiver and whatnot, I can't really give you that terminology the right way. When I say attack the ball in the air, what does that mean for those that don't understand that? Oh,
Yeah, so an easy explanation is just being referred to as high pointing the ball. Because Quentin Johnston, 6'4", if you watch him, he will jump up to catch the ball, but he still traps it. He's still trying to catch it against his chest, cradle the ball. He's not full arms extended. Although I'm 5'11" and you're 6'1", I'm going to outcompete you for the ball. And more so than just high pointing it, when you're talking about aggressiveness and going for the football. And this is something that you see a difference in Trayvon Diggs going after an interception versus Anthony Brown getting an interception, for instance. The aggressiveness of the ball's mine, I don't care what I have to do, how I have to contort my body to get the ball, is also what we're talking about when we're talking about aggressiveness and going after getting the ball. And yes, he's 5'11", maybe 5'9" and 3/8 or whatever the actual measurement actually is. And he's not a 4.29 guy. He's not going to run like Jalen Hyatt, but he's a guy that sneaky fast. He has a really good first step.
yeah.
He had the 5th most deep yards of any receiver in college football this year. Just throwing it out there. 602 of his 1,000 yards were deep passes this year. He's still not who I would take, but I like the player a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we've already, we've made our bed at wide receiver, so you can't.
We probably should double dip at wide receiver, and he's a pretty good value here too, though.
Yeah, but have you taken a running back yet, though?
No, that's in the running back board right now.
Yeah.
If you draft on PFF, 4th round and running back, you're gonna have like 6 dudes you like every time.
One of the things about Mims too, you know who my comp is for him?
Give it to me, Goose.
It's not a pro player. It's somebody in this exact draft. Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's actually a little bit faster of Jackson Smith and Jigba. And both of them played in systems where it's run and catch. Like, they're already in open space, getting the ball, they're moving. That's why he's such a good yak receiver. But he's got a little bit of violence to his running style whenever you see him have to get physical. And you talk about the hands. The dude has hands for days.
Right.
So Mims is one of those sneaky guys. He's a 3rd round value for me, and here we are in the 4th round. So this is one of those where it's like, I'm not going to pass up extreme value just because I've already gotten that position. If this guy is that good and I think he can contribute to the team, I'd be in a war room standing on the table for, let's wait. Hold on. Let's really think about this. Mims is a smooth guy. He runs smooth. He don't look as fast as these 4.3 guys that are reported going to be running high. But I bet you he's probably a, high 4.4, maybe low 4.5. But he's a good player.
He looks faster than what I think he's going to time, like when you see him in game film.
Right.
I think absolutely that he will not be there. Maybe I'm crazy. One of the guys right now, as I'm going through the mock drafts, over and over again, I don't think Mims will be in the 4th round. Maybe I'm.
He's a top 100 guy in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't think Mims is going to be.
What's his there?
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, no, I just if Mims is here, it's incredible value in my opinion. But what position, Spoony, would you like to go to? Anything in particular, or just kind of going what they have ranked?
Yeah.
I mean, Spears obviously.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, Spears obviously here. This kind of feels like where he's going to go. 5'9", 200 pounds, Tulane. We saw him out there doing his thing at the bowl. You know, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no, the quarterback
Israel there. Yeah,
Israel,
that's a good
yeah,
play.
Israel, yeah. I mean,
quarterback. So we didn't take a quarterback in round 3, and there's two
Raleigh
quarterbacks
Moss,
that.
I mean, Raleigh Moss as well. I love Raleigh Moss out of there. And look, I mean, Patterson from Notre Dame at the guard.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that too as well.
Patterson's a guy that should have came out last year. 100% should have came out last year. He
He
hurt
lost
his
money.
stock big time by coming back.
He lost money.
Hey, Dom, he did 5 years, right? Something like that.
No.
Injuries, something like that.
Man, the COVID stuff just messed me all up.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you if they're a 5th-year senior or red shirt senior, 5th year, still on a 6th year. It just, I'm
Yeah.
all up.
Well, BJ, let me ask you this: can you go to
Sure.
running backs? Because there's a guy from Kansas.
Sure.
Keep forgetting his name. From Kansas.
Oh,
Dude.
Vaughn.
Mr. Vaughn, yes.
Yeah. His dad's a scout for
We
the
didn't get a
Cowboys.
running back at all.
Right,
Eric
right,
Gray
Bruce Vaughn.
is actually a
Vaughn.
sneaky good pick too. Eric
Bruce
Gray,
Vaughn, yeah.
Kenny McIntosh. We have Dwayne
Yeah,
McBride. No one's
McIntosh,
even talking about UAB running back. Watch his
Hey,
film. You'll love him like I
facts.
do. He's up there for a reason on this mock. He's a guy that, again, doesn't go to a huge school, so you probably haven't seen him. But when you watch him, like, he's just super smooth.
I'm telling you
Breaks
this
a ton
now.
of tackles.
Telling you this now. February 10th, 10:38 Central.
Let's go.
Chris Rodriguez from Kentucky is going to be the Pacheco type that everybody's going to look back and go, how did we just overlook this guy? He's not that fast like Pacheco, but he's like one of those one cut type backs. He's always going north. And I just like the way he explodes through a hole. He doesn't play around. He's patient enough. He is a solid player that nobody is talking about. He was a Senior Bowl guy, and they did a quick little feature about his mother that passed away and had a tribute there. That was nice, touching story. But he's a solid little player.
So, where we at here, guys? Will we double dip at wide receiver, or do you want to pivot to a different position? Like, where are we at?
This is where I'm looking at one of my position coaches, and I'm going, hey, I'm offensive line. I got my left guard. Y'all stand on the table for y'all's guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair, very
So
fair.
we talked quarterback last round, the last 2 rounds with Hendon Hooker. Jake Hayner is available from Fresno State. He's a guy that's like he's skyrocketing up. If you listen to any of the draft experts, Dane Brugler said if he had to pick a Brock Purdy, a guy that scouts just like were way off based on what he could potentially do, he said Jake Hayner is that type of player where he's a better athlete than you give him credit for, has a better arm than you give him credit for. Aiden O'Connell's an interesting guy. Round 4, Clayton Tune, another guy. Like this is a round where quarterback value is actually pretty high right now too. Although I want to take a running back right now because I'm looking at our running back room and I'm like, we have Malik Davis, we have Zeke right now. Will he be there in April? I don't know. We have Pollard that we're franchising, and I don't want to give a running back a long-term deal. So if he's franchised and I have one more year of him, I'm running back is super interesting to me right now because there's a lot of guys that I like, but also there's depth there, so I don't have to go that.
But do you think from 129 to 163 you can get your running back? That's really the question.
That's a good question. I mean, running back's pretty deep right now. There's quite a few guys that I'd feel good about, but there's also a couple backs right now that I'm like, Spears to me is a slam dunk pick right now. McBride I would love, but there's also quite a few guys I'd be cool with. So
go to linebacker and
Oh no, my guy Pace is there. Y'all already know. Ivan Pace is my guy. Look. Y'all can take what y'all want here, but be clear. At 163, if Ivan Pace Jr. is here, I'm going to go to Hoodie Dix mode and let y'all know what time it is. I'm telling y'all right now. But I mean, Wilson's here. Henry's here as well. And of course the sleeper in every PFF draft apparently is D Winters. Okay, my God, he's always
You see D Winters and Aubrey Miller in like 98% of Cowboys drafts.
Like, and look, here's what I know: they're not going to be there. They're not going to be there.
Just look at Edge real quick, and then
Sure. I got you. Edge. My man says he wants the edge. Let me give the edge. I do like Parrish. I do like Parrish a little bit.
Darrell and Chummy, the very first guy on the list.
Yeah. From Maryland.
He's a major medical guy, but
yeah, the medicals.
Just go Google him and look at that body. You go, yep, that's a Dallas guy.
Yeah, facts.
So, Chad, let us know who you guys want. I've seen some names mentioned, but you guys are giving us 2 and 3. Give us your one guy.
One and done, chat. One and done. Who's the one? Who's the one?
Looney, you've been quiet, man. Who's your pick right now?
Oh, Vaughn.
I'm taking Deuce Vaughn right here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going.
I love Deuce Vaughn, but there's, in my opinion, more complete backs than I couldn't take him there. But I respect your pick. I love Deuce.
No, listen. My thing is this: the Marvin Mims thing. What y'all was saying earlier makes sense as far as the value, because let's be honest. We know CeeDee Lamb is here. Next year they can let go of Michael Gallup out of his contract if they wanted to. He has the outs next year, right? After that, you pretty much have Fioku. We don't know who they're gonna bring in. So it does. Now we already drafted Rice in the second round. It does make sense to take the value of Mims here, because if you do that, it will make the front office comfortable to move away from Gallup if they feel that they don't want him back. You got your Rice and you got your Mims.
There's a name on the board right now. If you watch the Senior Bowl, you won't love him, but if you actually watch his film, Xavier Hutchinson is a pretty good receiver.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not a great athlete, but he 100% fits the mold the Cowboys draft. He's that 6 foot to 6'3", 4'5" guy that's a good blocker, can move the chains, good contested catch guy. He's not a great athlete though, and he's not a great separator, so that's why I'm not quite as high on him, but I do like him. Raheem Jarrett's another receiver. He's a guy that's coming off of an injury, so last year was not great, but if you watch the year before, you'd love him. He's a Maryland wide receiver. He's available in the mock right now too. But Marvin Mims seems to be who the fans want.
Is there a D-tack here that moves you? Slade, Martin. I mean, Redmond.
Project Barnes, one of the big details.
Yeah, love it up out of here. Young, Dale.
I love Clark, but this is way too early for him.
But
I'm looking at running back. Running back just keeps coming back to me, but again, it's deep. So I'm cool with Marvin Mims if that's what you guys like. The chat seems cool.
I'm with Mims.
Oh God.
Nick, you started this. Don't change on us now.
It's fair. No, it's fair. No, I get it. Here's the thing, Dom. Here's the risk reward. Mims is the best guy on the board, right? That's what we're looking at. We understand what he is. If you don't take the halfback here, it's Russian roulette. It's 34 picks or 33 picks before you get there. Are you buying the board? This is where, and this is a great exercise here, what we talk about, because these teams, and what doesn't get talked about a lot is, okay, here we are. Like, oh yeah, Mims is there. We took a wide receiver. We don't have to run it back yet, or whatever position, right? But Mims is the guy. And this gets into, the BPA scenario here. BPA says Mims. Are you willing to roll the dice and take Mims here and see what happens in the next pick, 33 picks from now?
Absolutely. And here's why. I actually think Marvin Mims would be more of a day one starter than our round 2 guy, Rashee Rice,
Agreed.
because of the style of player
agree.
that Rice is. I continue to say that Rice is Michael Gallup 2.0, and he's not the separator. So he's going to have to learn some technique and be a technician and to be able to help with that. And I'm not knocking him at all. Don't get me wrong. I love Rashee Rice. But I think Mims can come in immediately start. He's got the higher value here, a full round over anybody else. Go with the best player available that can bring you also some juice on special teams.
Okay.
Ready, Knicks?
So, all right. Here's the thing. Whoa! Pause. Too soon.
Bruh.
Hold on.
My bad.
Hold on. Too soon. So, it's Mims over Spears from Tulane. Yes, we all agree. Raise your hands. I can't see your hands because I'm on the other side.
Begrudgingly, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Mims over Spears. All right. Hit it.
This is real quick before we do it, because Eddie makes a great point. If you don't take a running back now, you're getting a scat back. Here's where positional value starts to come into play again, because we're talking about running backs are running back by committee. You're platooning.
Right.
So a scat back to go with Pollard and Davis. Yeah, there are running backs right now that could be that 1B, 2A, whatever you want to say running back. But also Mims plays a position that is higher prioritized in the NFL right now than running back. And Mims could be a guy that can immediately be out there in 3 wide receiver sets for you. The running back you take, if Pollard's healthy, is not going to start over him, but he will definitely get carries. So positional value still comes into play. So I'm taking Mims over running back, even though I think there are running backs that could be a great value here too. So just talking on that real quick.
Hit the music. With the 126th pick, the Dallas Cowboys selects wide receiver Marvin Mims from Oklahoma.
Yeah. We took too long on that pick.
Yeah, fair. There's
somebody else ran up.
Put
their card in.
There's a lot of things happening there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going here to 163. Mother effer, I hate it here. I absolutely hate my life.
Show me the running backs.
Pace gone.
Yeah,
Pace
running
shooter's
back.
gone.
Back.
I absolutely hate this. Running back. Oh,
2 guys.
Oh,
Kenny McIntyre.
So Muhammad Ibrahim, great player, but red flag guy because of injuries and stuff like that. He torn Achilles in college.
Yeah.
And he's older.
Yeah. So now running back's interesting still. There's not scat backs. There's actually high in value running backs right now.
That's it. We got to take one. I wonder what past this.
Scroll up more.
Sure. Let me get out a running back. So, Henry, we're not in Kansas no more, Toto. Chandler's what they got there. Haggard, Galvin. Hey, this is interesting to me. This is a guy here, Emil, that I think's going to move up the board. I'm not talking about a second round pick, but I think as I keep seeing him in the 5th round, I think he has an opportunity to move up the board because of the realm of what the interior offensive line is, and there's not a lot of tackles to play guard. I kind of feel like he might end up being a mid-4th round pick, but he's here on the board, though. This is where I'm at here, Dom.
You know, I haven't studied him, so I just wrote the name down. I'm going to go and check him out.
Yeah. Again, for this draft, and this guy's went back to college, so can't take him.
Spoonie, what are you seeing out there?
Running back.
Which running back? Who do you like? Which running back do you like?
I didn't see who's up there.
Well, let me go back to running back then. Let me go to running back. All right.
No, this is one of those what do we get in free agency type things.
Well, we're here now, though, Dom. We're in the weeds now. McIntosh. I mean, we got your guy, Dom Rodriguez, here from Kentucky.
Yep.
I mean, this is getting drafted anyways the 7th round. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all know me. Hunter Luke. I mean, y'all already know. I don't care about this guy. I don't care about nobody else down here. This is where we're at.
How you feel about Christopher Rodriguez? Y'all good with him?
No. I'm good with him, but Kenny McIntosh for me makes complete sense for what the Cowboys do. He's 6'1", 210.
Facts.
Well, let me throw this out there for you too, because
he's the counterbalance from Pollard.
And this is important because you're talking about a West Coast offense. Your running backs are involved in the passing game.
Yeah.
Let me interest you in this. 42 receptions this year. 49 targets, 0 drops. He's a running back with really good hands. If you want a pro comp for him, you don't have to go too far back. He's your DeAndre Swift type of back. Like,
Yeah.
he would be a great value here.
Yeah.
Dom, are you McIntosh or Rodriguez?
Oh no, McIntosh is the higher value here.
Oh, well,
McIntosh.
then we're done.
Hold up.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
With whatever pick we just had from the University of Georgia,
I'm sorry.
Kenny McIntosh, running back.
University of Georgia. Shout out to Kirby.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right.
Julius Brents is available, so if you want to get that second cornerback, he's a guy with that DQ length, 6'3", 6'4" guy.
Let's go to cornerback real quick. How about that?
Yeah, Julius Brents, DJ Turner's an interesting. Darius Rush is the dude that he's where you see him right now. When they do their update, he'll be way higher up the board. So
super higher, yeah.
Really, Turner and Rush won't be there.
Yeah,
Wait,
but he is
Yeah,
good.
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong there, Dom, by any stretch.
Turner is pretty legit if y'all haven't really checked into him.
yes, one more pick.
Can we go into the D tackle mode now? Are we okay there, or is it you?
I know the one that you would probably get out of this group.
Is
I
it
know who
Dale
Professor O would
or
want.
Yep.
Seals? Where y'all at?
See, Gerard Clark's still my guy. For those that don't know, Coastal
Clark.
Carolina, 6'4", 330-pound defensive tackle. He's a one-tech. I think he had 4 sacks last year, which is really impressive for a big dude. He was recruited as a tight end in his freshman year, moved to one-tech. How crazy is that? So he's a dude that is more athletic than what he looks like, but he's also a guy that's going to play 15 snaps a game. So that matters when you're looking at what's on the board still.
Here's a question. We have 4 picks left, right? We have 170, 176, 212, and 246. What are the positions that in our minds that we need that we didn't address? For me,
I got you.
For me, we just got the running back, right? We got the receivers. Do we need kicker? Is kicker something you want to draft to do on draft a free agent? Quarterback.
So if you watch the Shrine Bowl, this is the superstar of the Shrine Bowl where absolutely nothing happened and the game was like 12-3 or whatever. It was just field goals. But Jake Moody, he would be a great kicker. I'm just not taking one here. I'm waiting until the very end.
All right.
Okay, but
a lot to be clear, kickers have went in the 5th round a lot recently.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like it's even to say here that we can move on, and the mock draft simulator will definitely give it to us. It will definitely give it to us. But would you be willing to now? Because we do need to. With that being said, though, we do need to go back over here to the line. Oh no.
Darius Rush right now would be the no-brainer in my opinion, but he won't be there realistically. So do we want to just leave him out? Or?
Yeah.
Can we go to what about linebacker?
I say leave him out because I don't think he'd be there.
So DJ Turner, Julius Brents, those guys may or may not. Brents probably will, but I don't know if DJ Turner will.
Do we need linebacker time or no?
I actually think Nick's is on to something with Moody.
The kicker.
And because there are a couple of D tackles that are still on the board that I think realistically will be on the board when the actual draft comes around. The other one that you may not have seen is Cameron Young out of Mississippi State.
I love Cameron Young.
Yeah, he was a Senior Bowl guy, and he's not gonna, overwhelm with his film, but he does little bitty things, the dirty work that it's like, all right, I'll put you in the middle of my defensive line and just let you go. Tyler Steen is a pretty good little option. I think Tyler Steen is a guy you can move inside.
And I like Young over Dale from Alabama, by the way. Just saying.
Not a fan.
I'm with the kicker. That's a starter right there.
The kicker.
Yeah, I'm going with the kicker. No more. I'm about to free agent kickers now.
I mean, they already said they did say that they were moving on and they're going back and forth. At this point, if you're going to do it, I mean, I get it.
We haven't given Bones a pick yet, right? We haven't given him a pick yet in this draft, so
right.
Yeah,
and
this is the territory. Although I don't want to take a kicker, but it makes sense here.
And I'm with you. I don't want to take a pick. I don't want to take a kicker here. But dadgummit, if this solidifies the position, say less. Because I'm a guy of, I don't care what happened in the last couple of games. I would actually bring back Maher. I would. Maybe I'm crazy. Shoot me in the head, whatever. That's fair. I get it. He missed like 5 straight extra points. But I go back to the Niners game. It was blocked, the extra point. I never said, oh, it would have been missed anyways. He made both field goals. I'm kind of good here, but it is what it is. The ownership group has said, the GMs have said, they're starting over. I mean, if we're going to start over, you'd say Moody.
That one, yep.
The Dallas Cowboys taking the 5th round. Mr. Moody, Michigan, and all the conundrums and everything else. Blah blah blah. All right, well, here we are.
QBs.
Pick 176.
So Brent's is still there.
Yes.
Yeah, and Wiley, the tight end, still there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I was about to do. Wiley from Cincinnati still there, too. Now, see, now you can talk me to the tight end.
DJ Turner.
Now I can.
Clayton Tune.
Oh, shit. Like, guys.
I take.
So, Dom, real quick, Braden Daniels, is that a tackle you're interested in? Is that somebody you think the Cowboys would say is an upgrade over Josh Ball or Willetsko?
Yeah, I saw him playing tackle, and he's a left tackle for Utah. Guy that I like. I spotlighted him. But I'm hearing that scouts are really wanting to see him move to the inside. And then he's going to have to add on some weight. So you're really talking about probably a guard for the pros. So he's a high-value guy for me. But if we're going to move him inside, that's too much of a developmental type.
Okay. So quarterback, we've already made the argument of why quarterback would make sense. Nix is pulling up the linebackers right now. Defensive back, cornerbacks are still strong, but any cornerback you take right now, we're looking at as your CB4 or CB5, depending on how that rotation works out. Darius Rush, if he was there, 100% that's the pick. I just think he's gone like 2 rounds earlier.
Ignore him right now.
I mean, can we just hit the button and be right?
Hit the button.
Sure, yeah, why not?
I'm just saying. I mean, if he's here at 176, can we just hit the button and be right then?
But here's the thing, BJ. Remember, you still want your fullback, right?
We got 2 more picks. I'm good.
I'm I take go with Rush. Get Rush.
No. Here's the thing, though. Where the cornerbacks are, I do want to go back to quarterback. We haven't done that yet, and we've had that conversation throughout. Look. I like Jaron Hall from BYU as well.
Me too.
As a developmental guy. But
your guy, though, the fullback, though, if he really is a Kyle Juszczyk in this draft class, he won't, in this mock, he'll be there in round 7. He won't be there in the actual draft in round 7.
I know that.
So if you want him, you gotta risk it to get that biscuit.
I mean, don't test me with a good time. Pause. I'm ready right now. Lipke, y'all ready? I'll hit the button right now.
That's a big part in a West Coast
I'll hit the button right now.
Fullback?
I mean, people are going to look at this and say, well, he's 204 and you're taking him at 176, but that's not how the draft actually works.
Already done. You tempted fate. I don't care.
Slip, right? It's slip.
Yeah. He trying to play. He trying to play like I wouldn't take him. Man, look. Going back a couple of weeks ago, Don was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, man, I'll take him in the late 4th, early 5th."
Knicks, for people who have not watched North Dakota State. Sell him on Lipke. Like, what's impressive about this guy?
What do you? I mean, look. In this year of our Lord 2023, in the the fullback room, if you will, is very minute in the NFL. However, Mike McCarthy loves a fullback, and on top of a fullback, here's the thing about him, because we had the conversation earlier about a tight end, where we argued about a tight end even in the first round. I said, "Well, say less." Lipke will give you he can be your 3rd tight end, no problems here. Oh, and on top of run the ball, on top of run routes, on top of dig that linebacker out of the hole when you run behind him. He's just an all-serviceable guy. For those that follow what San Francisco does, and for those who are Cowboys Nation that love what San Francisco does, John Jurevicius, Juice as we call him, he is Juice light. Like, he has that within him and what he does. I implore anybody to go over there and check his tape out and see what he does. And the highlights will show you him running the ball and catching the ball. But really, the meat and the potatoes of what he can do from the blocking standpoint, you have to go a little bit deeper to find that. And he's him. Like, literally, if you're going to go, it's kind of in a lot of different ways. I find it funny of if the Cowboys are ever going to a West Coast offense and get a fullback within the scheme, it just lines up so perfectly. Like, he's there. He's ready. And nobody's going to draft him, per se, because how the league is. Yeah. Look, I had to... look, in my mock draft, when I'd take him, like, the 6th or the 7th, I've had people inbox say, good job, Nick. See, you're drafting a guy who's going to be undrafted. I'm like, say less. I hope he's undrafted. Let me get him undrafted even. I don't care. I just think he's a player within the system that we're going to run, if that makes sense.
Let me just throw some numbers out there, again, for people that haven't watched him. So this is a fullback who scored 23 touchdowns in the last 3 years. So you're hearing that saying, okay, well, Zeke was our short yardage guy, so maybe he's a solution there. But a lot of times when you have a fullback and 23 touchdowns, you're like, well, he's probably just punching in from the 1 yard line. Last 3 years, yards per attempt, 5.5 yards, 6.2 yards, 6.5 yards. This is a fullback averaging over 5.5 yards per carry 3 consecutive years. He had 97 rushing attempts last year and broke 22 tackles. He averaged 4.04 yards after contact. Again, this is a fullback. So when you see the school and all that, and you're like, okay, he's a fullback, cool, whatever. This is that dude who catches passes, runs the ball, but doesn't just run and gain a yard or two. Like, he's an actual weapon you could use your offense. So
yeah, he's a
That's
monster,
like
man. And look, and all that, he can block. Like,
6'1",
on top of
236,
everything else, he can block. So, yeah, no offense or buts about it. But we're sitting at pick 212.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
what quarterback? Sorry.
Bruh, let me tell you how crazy your mind works and how vast your knowledge is. You had a slip up and didn't even realize the slip up you had.
with the name,
My man went back to Joe Juravicious.
yeah.
Oh, shit. I sure did.
Wow,
Dadgummit.
Wide receiver. Wow, Joe Jervis.
Yeah, I did. Actually, as soon as you said it, I was, oh, yeah. My fault.
I was like, hey, okay. You going for guys deep on roster to remembering.
Yeah.
Use check. All these crazy names.
Yeah. I mean, you don't
have to buy. You don't have to sell me on list.
How many picks we got left? We got 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 picks left.
Yeah. We
One got to be a quarterback.
We haven't taken a quarterback yet. The Cowboys said they are planning on drafting a quarterback, but
I mean, here's the time. The time is up. The time is now.
There he goes.
the guy the Cowboys want is not
Jared
who we
Hall.
want. No, it's further down.
Oh, you going?
He's right there. That's the Cowboys are going to take him.
Max Duggan?
Yes.
No, you really think so, P.O.?
100%. They're going to take him.
Yeah, I mean, they probably
All right.
are. But you know what? We have a lot
It's
of
our
mock
mock,
drafts.
though.
Yeah, we have a lot of mock drafts to get to that, and we put our pencils down moment and try to nail this. Right now, we're taking Jaron Hall from BYU. How about that?
Yeah.
Who else is on the board though? Like what? Not quarterback. Like what's the actual top board right now?
Okay, got you.
Okay.
Who making?
Luke.
That's good.
Yeah, I do like Luke.
He's older though, isn't he? Isn't he like 24, 25?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's not one of the older tight ends, but he's a good prospect.
Yeah,
Aubrey Miller.
high school quarterback.
Cameron, that's a guy. Warren McClendon is a tackle that people have mentioned as a possible guard, but we already took our guard, so he's a guy that maybe you're looking at kicking out Farniok or something like that.
Can I take Cameron Young here? Can
No.
I get Cameron Young? No, okay.
So,
Fair.
let's get Professor O's guy.
Jared Clark?
Quarterback.
Oh, you want to go?
Yeah.
Look, no, I'm on board the court. Oh, you want? Oh, you want Max Duggan? I want to say.
I don't want Max Duggan. No.
Oh,
We're
you
talking
want
Jaron Hall. Yeah.
Jaron Hall. Oh, yeah. High five, man. Me and you both. Yes, let's go. Jaron Hall.
Dom, that's who you're talking about, right?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Cool.
Okay,
All right,
yeah.
lock it in.
Let's go. With 100 and 200 and whatever the hell, BYU, the next great BYU quarterback,
212, I think.
Jaron Hall. There we are. Y'all, look. We got to play.
So
here.
running back Tavion Thomas.
Yeah. No, we got to play here. Stop playing with me. Y'all know the drill. No, I don't want to take Tavion Thomas. I thought about it for a second, but now I'm like, wait.
We don't really need Tavion since we just took a 236-pound
Yeah, it's true. It's
running
true.
back, fullback hybrid.
And
we took Kenny McIntosh, so we have Kenny,
Yeah.
Malik Davis, Pollard.
How about
Running back
safety?
room, I think we're in good shape.
How about safety? Because in case we don't sign Donovan Wilson back,
Okay. I mean, let's go
that
safety.
guy is Mamaku.
Who you like? You like Hill? You like Scott? You like Jones?
There's a Boise guy. We love them.
Woodbay?
Yeah.
So I like Jordan Howden. He was one of the standouts of the Shrine Bowl week. Kayvon Merriweather's another safety that I like.
I was gonna say Mayweather would be my guy. That's why I was kind of going back.
Is Mayweather actually a cornerback? I haven't watched him yet. Is he a converted guy?
He's like a nickel. He's in the same mold of a, not talent wise, but he's in the same mold of a Brian Branch, a Javon Holland, where he's really a nickel safety. So he can play kind of all over the place. Puka's there, but we already took 2 wide receivers.
I'm getting the Coastal Carolina kid, defensive tackle.
I think he's gone though. I don't think he's there anymore.
Let's take a look. Ooh,
Yeah, he's gone.
You got Steels, Maxwell, Vincent.
So the chat's saying AJ Finley, Isaiah Moore, the safety out of Cali, Carrington, Valentine. So Chris loves Carrington. I think he has a great name because it reminds me of a bunch of other stuff. But great name.
I didn't realize he was still on the board this late. Wow. He's a potential
back here.
top 20.
I do like Mayweather a lot, though.
So Dom's saying we should look at Carrington. Chris is saying we should look at Carrington. And he even asked us nicely to take him. He said, please.
All right, okay. Well, dadgummit. I mean, is it...
Chat, let us know. We got one person asking for him, but he asked very nicely. If anybody else wants Carrington, let us know.
Mendoza, Isaiah Moore. We got AJ Finley. What do we got here? Maxwell's my guy. Carrington Valentine. Is that where we are? Where we at?
We'd be double dipping at corner.
That's true.
Wouldn't you want to look at a tackle though? We haven't drafted a tackle.
Let's be clear. If you're taking a outside guy per se, man, this is a special teams pick with developmental stats. Is what you're looking at here. If you go meat and potatoes here, right? That's a little bit different. But you're looking for a special teamer here, right? Multiple, more than not, from what you're doing. Just saying, on that stretch here at 246. Who's your who's your guy? What you got?
Alex Forsyth is still here.
Yeah.
So I'm Mr. Miss me with that offensive line early, but I have no problem double, triple taking linemen later on in the draft because you need them. So
Matt, very first game out the chute, the Ducks played your Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
Forsyth was the one that I was during the game. You were focused on the game.
I was.
But I was hitting y'all up saying, "Hey, look at the center. Look at the center. How he's actually."
Yeah, I remember that
against Carter, and had a couple of plays where he drove him off the ball, and one I think he even put him on the ground. So.
So is he a guy? Let's ask this: is he a guy that could kick off Farniok from the roster? Is he a better prospect? Does he offer that guard center flex that Farniok offers?
Do we need the Chris Godwin replacement?
They love Farniok and what they've been doing to develop him.
Yeah.
But if they were in the same draft, it wouldn't even been close.
And you know what? I'm gonna give my guy Carrington Valentine pick. How about that? Can we do that?
Get it.
Let's make him the CJ Godwin pick.
After the 4th round, you can put me on anything. Oh no, Chris.
All right, let's see what PFF graded us out at. Joey Porter was a B. Rice a C. C Vavila C plus. Marvin Mibbs the A minus. Well, they hated us at round 5. They hated us with Kenny McIntosh with a D plus. They give us an F for Moody. They give us an F for Lip K. They give us a C for Hall and a C plus for Valentine.
The ethnic's
This
fantastic.
draft is a C.
Hey,
It's so if you're looking at it right next to the letter grade, their grade almost always is going to be lower unless it's a position of need if you took a player higher than they have value.
That's true.
So we took Moody as an example at what pick is that?
That pick was 170.
170, and they have him at 298, so it's an F because they don't have him on their board like that. But Marvin Mims was 126, and we took him at 129, so he was higher. So it was actually a good value for us, and he was a position that they have ranked for us. If you look at Rice, 76, we took him at 58, position of need, but lower on their board. So that's why if you see these grades, don't really worry about that too much.
Here's my thing. We took Porter at 26. He was ranked 26. How's that a B?
Still got to be. Because if you look at the positions, they don't have cornerback. I think they have wide receiver, defensive tackle. Cornerback might be on there. I don't remember what they have originally, but.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that being said, make sure somebody. Let me see if I can download.
How many starters do we have? How many starters do we get?
1, 2, 3,
4 with Moody. Lipsy, so we have 5. That's 5.
I think 5. I was gonna say. I think 5. I think there's 5 starters within this construct here.
Or
Five. I think it's 5.
there-
I think it's 5 and some rep guys. 2 rep, 5 starters and 2 high rep guys. That's where I'd be at.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think we got a bunch of significant contributors, but I wouldn't say 5 starters to start out the season.
Yeah,
But if
Moody
Mitchell-
would start, Porter would start, Avila would start, and then Mims Rice will play a lot. I don't know if they'll necessarily start.
Right.
McIntosh would not start either.
Your fullback starts for fullback for what it's worth. Just saying. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, man, a fun time as we kick off this new venture instead of the Freestyle Friday. You know, we're definitely into the quote unquote mock draft Friday, and we're going to break down and talk about these different prospects and talk about different positions and what we do, and then end with a live mock draft and having a good time and build this thing up all the way to the draft series. So obviously, as you see it on the bottom, this is where you can follow us on Twitter. Make sure you go over there and do that, because we actually start this thing out with the happy hour space over there, and then we lead into this, and then we're going to pick up and do certain things throughout this process and have a good time and drop some videos here and there. So make sure you're tuned in, make sure you're sub, make sure you're following. Fun time. And we got our guy, the Deacon, Spoony. We got the Deacon in the building, Dom, to rock with us during the draft period. Supremely happy about that. And for those that have been long-term subs here and how we do the draft live as it's going on, it's going to be back in full effect. My knee's down bad. I'm taking the MRI Tuesday, surgery happening, which means I probably can't make it to Kansas City as I planned. So guess what? Live for I don't know. Dom, you've been on the live before. Spoony, you have been as well. So on and so forth. Man.
We straight days.
Yeah. We'll be there for 30 million hours going non-stop and having a good time during the draft. So enjoy this process with us and rock with us, man. We appreciate everybody. With that being said, I want to leave for the first time around of the mock draft Friday. Who's the one guy you're like, I want to see more, because all the underwear Olympics are happening and so on and so forth throughout this process. Who's the one guy you're excited to see now? You've seen the tape. You've seen what's happening. Now everything's in front of them before we get out of here. Spoony, who's the one guy you're paying attention to as this moves forward?
From the picks we have? Or just
not our picks, just any prospect in general.
Looking at Downs from North Carolina, I think he's gonna definitely rise up, and catch people's eyes. I can't wait for the combine in end of February, March, first week of March. But he's definitely gonna them small receivers between him and Flowers, they're really gonna put on a good view at the combines, and I think they're going to rise up a lot of people's ball. Again, like P.O. and Dom said earlier, this draft, you don't have your average big receivers. They're all small, but at the same time, for the offense that we're going to run, we want that speed. We want that separation, a little bit more than what we didn't have last year. So, but Downs is my guy.
10-4. Dom, who's the guy you're paying attention to moving forward from February 10th forward?
It's a guy that have been down on, but I really want to see Jack Campbell, Iowa linebacker, to see how he does, especially with a lot of the athletic testing.
Got you. Who's the guy for you?
Yeah, so the guy for me, I don't even know if he'll be on the board, but he's one of the most intriguing prospects overall for me is JSN, Ohio State wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Didn't play this year, had a hamstring injury. Barely played this year with a hamstring injury, but the year before put up monster stats with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson with him. He's just a smooth athlete. He looks good on film, but he doesn't look like he's terribly fast. And that may completely change what happens with him in the draft. If he runs faster than expected, so if he's a 4.43 guy or something like that, I think he'll be the first receiver off the board this year over Quinn Johnston, over Addison. If he runs 4.55, he might be your fourth or fifth wide receiver off the board. So he's one of the guys that speed in testing could impact him tremendously. So he might be a guy that goes pick 12, or he might be a guy that is on the board when we pick. So he's interesting to me.
I think for me, for where the Cowboys pick it, I think it's Drew Sanders for me moving forward. I think he's a guy that's kind of doing things or whatever. But I think where the Cowboys are, and of course whatever's happening, his process now at 6'5" and what he's doing, Drew Sanders is the guy for me that I'm starting to circle and look at. Maybe this is where the Cowboys are. What he does moving forward, I think, he won't be there in the second round, but you might take him too high at 26. What does he do? What does he do that either drops him or builds a gap for him where the Cowboys are needing a linebacker? So Drew Sanders, the linebacker for me, is very intriguing to watch the process moving forward, whether he gets pushed down or go up. But of course, each and every week we'll have different guys, risers, fallers, and we'll kind of have the segment of risers and fallers so we get through this thing and we talk about it throughout the week. So, man, buckle up, enjoy the ride, and if you like this kind of draft content, man, we'll be here each and every Friday for sure doing that. Man, enjoy the weekend. Make sure somebody screenshots that mock draft so we can do something, so I can go back to it later. And Eddie, Dom's favorite, A.T. Perry. Dom, that's your favorite? No. I know you and Eddie be going back and forth. This is a fun
Yeah,
time.
we did.
With that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. Be safe. Man, I got time for a space. I saw Eddie, you dropped about a space earlier. Sure, I'll run another space before I get up out of here. Well, not out of here, but on the other side. We'll run a little Twitter space and do whatever. Then we say please, and we'll see you each and every Friday right here, 8:30 p.m. Central, Mock Draft Fridays, and talking about the draft process in these Cowboys. Peace.